I'll show you how to operate this Cobra 37mm launcher. She is a beauty. She's built like a weapon of mass destruction. She's built like an old school Corvette, all metal parts. And I'm gonna show you how to make this thing go boom. This is a smoke round. You can load her up with flare rounds, smoke rounds, explosive rounds. Personally, I don't deal with explosive rounds. ATF, make sure you write down in your little notes about my chopper. All right. So we all locked and loaded. You can even do firework rounds. I mean, you guys play Call of Duty. You know your options. All right. So we got her locked and loaded. Charging handle. Take off safety. She's off safety. And pull the trigger. I'm gonna show you how to operate this Cobra 37mm launcher. She is a beauty. She's built like a weapon of mass destruction. She's built like an old school Corvette, all metal parts. And I'm gonna show you how to make this thing go boom. This is a smoke round. You can load her up with flare rounds, smoke rounds, explosive rounds. Personally, I don't deal with explosive rounds. ATF, make sure you write down in your little notes about my chopper. All right. So we all locked and loaded. You can even do firework rounds. I mean, you guys play Call of Duty. You know your options. All right. So we got her locked and loaded. Charging handle. Take off safety. She's off safety. And pull the trigger. I'm gonna show you how to operate this Cobra 37mm launcher.
Kudos. That's Mark Choppa, MarkChoppa, Mark Choppa TV. Incredibly funny little number there to start out our Monday night. Hello, everybody. Thank you for clicking on. It is DUFUS After Dark. It is the 6th day of, let me pop this in there. Thanks for clicking on. It is the 6th day of February 2023. Big show. It is the big show. We've got a big show tonight. Lori, Arnold, and Telescope are going to be on. They've been wanting to have a conversation publicly, and we kind of determined this might be the right forum for them to do so. So we'll be talking coming up in a little bit. And in the meantime, we got some news. We got some stories. Hi, peace, love, and unity. Hot mess summer. Hi, Laura. Let me run up the chat here and say hello. Hi, Judy Davis. Hello, Eric. Love one another. GA from CAGA and hello, LaPrue. Good vibes. GA and Cunning, of course, will be on this coming Wednesday night. Hi, Lori. Hi, Lisa Hurley. Hi, Mike D. Sassy Pants. As always, well, as almost always, Wednesday night we'll have Cunning Stunt and GA from CA on. Tomorrow night, we are going to be starting at a special time. I'm going to be on at 8:45 tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's the State of the Union that gets underway at 9 o'clock. So I'm going to be on here about 8:45-ish. I'll be on here tomorrow night, and we'll have the State of the Union on if anyone wants to watch. Pam from customer service. Hello, Mater. Hello, Katrina. And yes, so tomorrow night, special start time, 8:45-ish. And then 9 o'clock will be the State of the Union. We'll play that. We'll have some commentary, and we'll have our Tuesday night. Then Wednesday we'll have Cunning Stunt. Always have to be careful, and GA on. And then Thursday night, I'm not sure yet if Mel is going to be able to be on with me or not, my friend Mel. If so, we'll have a little special thing Thursday night. Otherwise, we'll have our game night. So, hello, Sissy. How are you? The Golden Chariot, is that really Dom? I'll be outside the barricades. Okay. I'm not sure. We don't have any barricades, Dom. If that's you, welcome. Thank you for clicking on. All that being said, Lori, Arnold, and Telescope together. We've had them on numerous times individually, but we're going to have them on together coming up here in a little bit. Awesome. Thank you for being here. With that being said, we will start as we always or almost always do We'll start out with our breaking news. And here's what the mainstream says is happening as far as headlines. Top general says Trump-era spy balloons flew over the U.S. Supposedly 3 Chinese spy balloons flew over the U.S. while Trump was in the presidency. And General Milley did not tell him about it because they were afraid what he might do. Take that for what you will, but that is the report that I've been getting. Okay, next up from AP. This is, of course, the Associated Press, not Anarchy Princess. AP News headline, Turkey earthquake, live updates on a 7.8 earthquake. We've got some footage coming up from Turkey in a little bit. NBC News, a neo-Nazi leader among 2 arrested in a plot to attack Baltimore's power grid. And again, I've got a little bit more on that story coming up as well. The Murdaugh trial from Fox News. Alex Murdaugh brought a tarp to his mother's home the night of the murders. CNN, a controlled release of toxic chemical from the train that derailed in Ohio. And CNBC, Biden to deliver the State of the Union address amid high inflation and a divided country. And again, we will, I'll be on here tomorrow night about 8:45. If you'd like to come on and watch, we'll be watching and commenting. And that's what's happening in the mainstream as far as their headlines. Again, for those that are unfamiliar, let's touch on this train derailment real quick. This is from ABC News, and this is a day ago. This just gives you some information in case you know absolutely nothing about it. I'm not sure why that. We go.
Tonight, an evacuation order remains in place in East Palestine, Ohio. The town is under a state of emergency after 50 train cars derailed, causing a massive fire a half-mile long, which lit up the night sky and burned for hours. Officials say some of the cars were transporting hazardous materials. Here's ABC's Faith Abube.
Tonight, an entire town in Ohio under a state of emergency after a freight train derailed, sparking multiple explosions. At least 50 Norfolk Southern rail cars colliding, some of them, according to authorities, carrying hazardous materials like vinyl chloride.
It's still a very volatile situation.
The massive fire lighting up the skies over the village of East Palestine around 9 p.m. Friday. The orange glow and thick smoke visible for miles. The mayor ordering an estimated 2,000 residents within a 1-mile radius of the scene to evacuate until further notice. Hours after the derailment, some of those rail cars still burning.
We are not allowing any of our people in that area still to this point for safety concerns. The product in question that we're most concerned about is vinyl chloride.
Short-term exposure to vinyl chloride can irritate the eyes, nose, throat, and lungs. Long-term exposure can lead to chronic liver and kidney problems. Janet Meeks and her family live in the evacuation zone, but she says they're staying put to care for their pets.
I wasn't too concerned until I started smelling it, and our eyes were burning a little bit, so I'm not sure what the long term is going to be.
Okay. Again, we've been monitoring that. Of course, I haven't been on the air, but as our headline said earlier, they are conducting a controlled release right now, or earlier this afternoon, and trying to disperse the chemicals. If you're anywhere close to that area, pay attention if nothing else, and get out if at all possible. Sadly. Okay. We're going to have some serious talk tonight. We got some serious stuff coming. We like to have a little bit of fun every once in a while. Have you seen the biggest bat in the world? Well, let's take a look.
The biggest bat in the world. The ultimate bat representative has come from the rainforests of the Philippines, the giant golden-crowned flying fox. You just have to look at these pictures to confirm that its monstrous size could even be close to that of a human being. Is it possible? Stay tuned to find out. It's as big as it is smart. It belongs to the Pteropodidae family and is named after its obvious resemblance to common foxes, especially its ears, elongated snout, and fur color. A special feature is the fur on the back of its neck, which ranges from cream to golden yellow. It's like its own crown, a worthy representative of royalty. On the other hand, what's truly incredible is that, in order to be less noticeable to predators, this mammal devotes much of its time to grooming and self-care, using its wings to collect water from ponds and rivers to spread it all over its body. No wonder, a study revealed that these bats are quite smart, comparable to domestic dogs. Did you know that? This was the result of training giant golden-crowned flying foxes to pull a lever to get food, a practice they learned and were able to remember 3.5 years later. They're amazing. Unknown hero. If you think they're a nightmare, have rabies, and want your blood, you're far from the truth. The flying fox, despite being a nocturnal species with a gloomy and somber appearance, is harmless to humans, as it isn't carnivorous. Quite the opposite, it's frugivorous and generally feeds on fruits. Figs and papayas are its favorites. Watch them having a good time. Plus, thanks to its long tongue and sticky saliva, it also feeds on the nectar of flowers without destroying them. Wow! Its feeding habits are amazing and play a key role in ecosystems. Since it can fly up to 25 miles in a single night, it redistributes the fruit seeds it has consumed through its feces, thus contributing to reforestation in the Philippines and the reproduction of some plant species. It surely...
There you go. Biggest bat in the world, and nothing to be afraid of, according to that anyway. But hey, I'm not going to test it out personally. I'll look at it on the internet, but I don't want to get close to it. And of course, all the stuff going on in Florida that we reported on, the monkeys with herpes down there, and the Cuban poisonous frogs, and yeah. All right, couple of more stories here. I don't know if let's see, we're at okay. Got time for. Hello, Sean, American Rebel. Sandy Foster, how are you? Hello, L. Smith. And let me pop up here just a little bit more. See if ACB's in here, Feisty Mama. And we will have Lori Arnold. Hopefully we will anyway, have Lori Arnold and Telescope on in a little bit. Hello, Cunning. Am I missing anybody? Did I miss anybody? If I did, I do apologize. Hey, Wild Man. Again, thank you all for being here. Thank you for clicking on. And we'll get on to a couple of more stories here, including just a little bit more about the neo-Nazi attempted takeover of Maryland, of Baltimore. And this is a still picture taken from a video, captured from a video. 2 people charged with conspiracy to damage energy facilities, a neo-Nazi leader and a woman with whom he had a personal relationship allegedly planned to attack electrical substations encircling Baltimore and, quote, completely destroy, end quote, the entire city. This is according to federal court documents. The Justice Department has charged Brandon Clint Russell and Sarah Beth Clint Daniel with conspiracy to damage energy facilities, alleging that the Maryland-focused plot was driven by ethical or racial motivated extremist beliefs. They, quote, conspired to inflict maximum harm on the power grid, end quote. Says Tom Sobliskis, who heads the FBI field office in Baltimore, said during a news conference Monday, the accused were not just talking, but taking steps to fulfill their threats and further their extremist goals. So the feds were watching them and deemed it that it was more than talk, and decided to act before that couple could act. Wonder, it's something to think about, as we say on here. We don't tell you what to think or how to think. We just give you things to think about. One of the things to think about is, how often do things like that happen? that it, most of the time it is just talk, but feds are watching. And one thing I have been able to do, I've been able to get the Twitter bookmark scroll back up, but in order to do so, I had to go into the actual American DUFUS account, and this is one case set up. I don't have any followers. I'm not following anybody on it. It was actually set up to promote merchandise from the American DUFUS stores. So it hasn't been active for, almost 3 years now. But I am able to put a bookmark scroll together on it. I just have to use my other laptop to actually find the stories. All that being said, this is, again, something. Oh, hold on. Let's pull it up. Wait a minute. What happened? Hang on. Clicked the wrong button. There we go. Okay. Let's see if I can't pull this up and give us a watch. This is a relative close up of the balloon being popped, as everybody's had some fun with it. But just give this a look as to where the missile actually hits. And it appears like the missile hits. It appears like the missile hits the payload. It appears like the missile destroys the payload and the solar panels. It seems like that was the target instead of the balloon. And if it was indeed a spy balloon and it had been operational and it was collecting data, maybe that's why they targeted that area. But I would think that it would have the data would have already been taken or sent back to the Communist Party over in China. But let's watch it one more time here as it comes up, because it looks like it comes in and it looks like it hits the bottom right here. It's hard to tell. It's grainy, but this may be the best look we get. All right, so that's our story number one. And thanks to OSNet, open source intelligence, for that. Well, a couple of Indiana stories are up next on our Twitter scroll. Indiana Republican Victoria Sparks has announced her retirement at the end of her second term. She won't be running. She has said she will not be running for anything in 2024. Rumor was really strong that she was going to be challenging for a Senate seat here in Indiana, running on the Republican Party. So what this basically means is we're going to have an open congressional seat. And no, I'm not. Yes, I am going to cut my hair once it gets warm, but no, I'm not going to be running for office again. A second story coming out of, it's an Indiana story, but really it's actually a California story. This comes from KTLA. Hollywood man found with high-powered arsenal. Officials with the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office Thursday announced charges against a 25-year-old man. Police say the 25-year-old from Indiana recently moved to Hollywood with an arsenal of weapons, rifles, and had rifles pointed out the windows of his 18th floor apartment along Sunset Boulevard. And that came out on the 3rd of February. Hogwarts Legacy. Where did that come from? Okay. This came just about 3 hours ago, I think. Okay, 6 hours ago. Shocking footage of another building collapsing hours after the first earthquake in Turkey. 2 total earthquakes in Turkey, about 10 hours apart. Both of them, one a 7.8 and the other 7.5. Just to give you a rough idea, it's roughly 100 times. If you have a 0.3 earthquake and you have a 0.4, the 0.4 is about 100 times stronger than the 0.3. They're talking about 0.7, 0.75, 0.78, possibly 8.1, 7.5 aftershocks. So this was indeed a massive, massive earthquake. Here's some footage that
buradaki halk elini uzatabildiğine yardım etmeye çalışıyor. Lütfen yardım gönderin. Kahramanmaraş'ta durum çok kötü. İnsanlar yardım bekliyor. 112'ye ulaşılmıyor. Buradaki halk elini uzatabildiğine yardım etmeye çalışıyor. Lütfen yardım gönderin. Kahramanmaraş'ta durum çok kötü.
And keep in mind, this is just one of the locations in Turkey, one of the cities. Okay, why did that happen? Here we go. All right. Well, let's see if we can get. Okay. I can't get back to I'm not sure why, but my bookmarks aren't, here. Jeez, stupid. Because I do have one more. Okay, this is as the earthquake is happening. And cool. Thank you. This is as the earthquake is happening or just about to happen. And there's a phenomenon called earth lightning, which it's basically electrical charges that go from the earth up into the sky. Normal lightning comes from the sky down. There's earth lightning that goes from the earth up. And a lot of people think that solar storms, solar energy has an impact on what happens here on Earth. Our magnetic field is supposedly weakening. Could we see more potential earthquakes? Of course. When the first you're going to see possibly earth lightning. When the first few examples happen, I think these are probably electrical transformers going off, but we'll give it a couple of looks here. Things are starting to shake, as you can hear. Now you can see you'll still see the blue light coming up. It appears even after all the power's off. and it's a good example of the sounds that potentially come out during an earthquake. Thousands upon thousands, sadly, dead in Turkey and Syria because of that quake. I got a message. Lori's here. We'll see if Telescope's in here. I've got one more story, and this is only fitting since Lori was in Indiana. This is an Indiana story. Came out 3 days ago. In case you were wondering what the Indiana legislature's been up to, that's what they've been taking up now. They've been, I don't know, with everything that's going on. Let's have a bill for throwing stars so that I don't know. I don't know. All right. Let me drop this in here. It is actually 10 minutes past when I told him. I'm sorry. Apologies to Lori and to Telly. I told him it would be about 20 after 10. I should have told him. All right. There we go. Now this is just for Lori Arnold and for Telescope. Butterflies. Hi, butterflies. Good to see you in here. So there's old cauliflower Cam. Hello, Roy. Thank you for being here. Yeah, so hey, we've got another balloon is out there. At least one more is out there. Latin America at the moment not coming towards us, but of course we are keeping an eye on it. Sister Mary, axe throwing looks fun and cathartic. Howdy, Wendy Spears. I've never done it. I don't know. It might. I mean, I can see where it would potentially be a good skill to have in some situations, possibly, but I just never thought about it. We have an axe throwing place right here in Dothan, Alabama. Okay, spring is coming. Butterflies, not according to the freaking groundhog. Groundhog said we got 6 more weeks of winter coming. Here we go. Let's see if we can do this. Hello.
Hello, am I here?
Yes, you are. Hello, Lori Arnold.
I don't see me.
I don't see you either.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
The goat man got me.
The goat man? Who's the goat man, if I can ask?
Oh, I went to a haunted bridge.
Oh, I knew you were going to a haunted bridge. So there's a goat man at the bridge?
Barry.
Like a troll that lives under the bridge?
Well, no, there's actually a really cool story behind it. I don't know if it's a real story or not, but about an African-American guy that sold goats. He was the goat man.
Okay.
And yeah, and it ended up a story where the KKK ended up getting mad at him, and they came and tore him out of his home and went to lynch him over the bridge. And they looked over to see if he was dead, and he wasn't there. And they didn't hear a splash or anything. They couldn't find him. So they went back and killed his family. And so there's, yeah. So but it's actually a historical landmark. This bridge is, so it's an old bridge. And yes, we went down there at dark to see the goat man comes, and people have disappeared. Now in all reality, that's a story. In all reality, there has been a suicide there. A kid committed suicide there. Yeah. And from what I could gather, there have been a lot of satanic rituals, supposedly in the woods around it. And we went out there, and there's tons of spray painted stuff all over the trees, and everything. So, but one of the funny stories is the local pet stores stopped selling animals for a while because there were so many dead animals found in the woods.
Oh my gosh.
Supposedly being like satanic ritual kind of thing. And so now that's a story I have not verified, but it was one that came up. So here we are at this thing, right? Me and Echo. I found the glory hole, dude. We found the glory hole. I had to try to get Echo out of the glory hole. It was huge too. I almost lost him in there.
Oh, we got to tie a 2x4 on Echo's back so we don't get lost in the glory hole.
Are you there?
Okay, it always takes a different turn when you're on here. I guess I should just expect it. Okay, what happened at the glory hole, Lori?
So, seriously, in all seriousness, it's Texas, man. It's dark. Okay, and so here I am with my little camera. I'm live streaming, thinking I'm all funny. I'm laughing about the glory hole, not realizing that the goat man was literally a few feet from me, and we get back and Echo says, you saw the goat man, right? I said, what? No. I walked back thinking he was joking. There was somebody, and it looked like, I'm not kidding, it looked like a big black man. Okay. And he was up against this other bridge. It was under a bridge. Okay. Not the original bridge, but the newer bridge. And he was up against it. He did not move. He just didn't say nothing. And here I'd been running around in the dark with my little camera, laughing about glory holes and stuff. And there really was somebody up there. Now, we were joking it was the goat man, but there really was somebody up there.
I mean, it's not like there was an entity on your camera that you didn't see, but there was actually a person there.
No, there was actually somebody there. I joke about it being the goat man, but yeah, there really was. It was in the dark and he didn't move and he didn't say nothing. He freaked me out.
Okay. I know Telescope is itching to get in on this. Hello, Telescope. We've had these two on many times individually. We've got them on here tonight.
What's up?
All three at the same time. Okay. Telescope, any questions about the goat man?
No, I've been having some computer issues, so I had to restart my stream. So, but I'm buried here with a library literally on my couch. I don't know if you can see it, of multiple books. You made me go through all my stuff. So, I think it's a cool conversation tonight. Right. I know she mentioned the Satanist kind of thing. Most Satanists don't sacrifice children or animals.
Dude, I know. That's why I laughed about it.
Okay, they're atheists. They're like shock rock atheists, and they're big, actually, freedom of speech advocates. So, yeah. I don't know. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Don't mind me. No, that's something I was kind of saying when I was going through and looking at all this stuff. I said I think a lot of it is shock value, or it's just people who are coming out and kind of. Like we did some of it, right? Voodoo. I do voodoo Tifa. Sure. Or
I have the voodoo doll on my wall over here. Actually, the one that was meant to see. 1 second.
Okay, we're going to bring back some memories now, Lori.
No.
He has the voodoo doll from the mall.
No, he does not.
Yes, he does. There it is.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. There's a few things I want to keep. Is my audio right? Because my internal mic busted the other day. So, am I good?
Well, hey, did you guys see about the Grammys too? Is a big thing about Satanism or something that I kind of saw a little bit on the news.
Well,
my biggest takeaway from the Grammys is what happened to Madonna. I mean, she was at the halftime act at the Super Bowl in Indianapolis, and I ran a security team, and she was hot you know, just a few years ago. What happened to Madonna? I'm sure that's not everybody, you know, but I just wanted to throw that. Yeah. Okay. Go back.
Poor facial reconstruction. I mean, there's an issue. I mean, obviously when the band Ghost, right, won a Grammy. I don't distinctly remember any band who like deliberately sings about Satan worship than Ghost. I don't think they're a Satanist band, but they sing a lot about Satan. Especially like a song like Year Zero, but it's very much done in a higher level. Their first album is fantastic. They understand the metaphysics of what they're talking about in regards to it. And bear in mind, I have even on my I prepared. I even have another book on the origin of Satan right here. So I think it's gonna be fun. We're gonna have some fun tonight.
I didn't prepare, so
that's all right.
No.
Oh no, I'm laughing because, like, you know, I'm a fly by the seat of my pants kind of gal.
Okay, Lori, what was being said about the Grammys last night?
Okay, so I just saw it and it was, I guess maybe I'm just not. I found it a little bit overreaction myself. That's just me, but because it was kind of like, okay, get the kids out of the room, you know, because there might be things inappropriate. And I was thinking to get the kids out of the room when I watched it to see what they were showing me, to see how bad it was, right? That kids couldn't watch, be upset by it. And it was men running around with like horns and on their head and red tights. And I mean, it was performance. I was sitting there thinking, well, didn't we used to sing, I'm on the highway to hell?
And at every AC/DC concert, there are red lit horns. The whole crowd is like blowed up.
Osbourne bit the head off a bat.
Well, he was drunk and fucked up on cocaine when he did that. But
did he really do that?
Yeah,
that's been a topic of debate. Did he really do it, or did he just appear to do it? You know?
No. He reenacts it, but there was an original one that he did. I believe it's at his like record. It was like at a record meeting they did it. The initial, and then had the blood running down. Bear in mind, Ghost was the band I was bringing up. Like I said, they do deliberately sing about Satan intentionally.
I saw that ABBA was nominated for. I didn't know ABBA was still in existence, let alone they did something relevant enough to get nominated for a Grammy.
I mean, I love ABBA. I'm a huge ABBA fan. But your ABBA mean is fantastic.
Yeah, I was just. I'll have to go back and watch the show, I guess. Yeah. But what do you think about what Lori was talking about?
I probably missed it. What you saying?
Okay,
Lori, make a foundation.
Lori.
A lot of people see. I want to just say something because I'm curious about what Telescope thinks about this, because what I hear a lot is that there is a push, and I do see it for I don't know how to call it, Satanism, you know, or I'm not sure of the terminology, but like we have Satan clubs coming up in schools, and there's supposed to be a satanic temple being put in Goshen, Indiana, down on Main Street. It's been talk of the town. So like I hear a lot from the Christian community that are very, very upset, you know, that Satan is being pushed right now. To me, because I don't believe in God and the devil, I kind of laugh a little here and there. I watch Damnation Drive-In, you know, and I laugh about the devil. I try to tell them, you know, that a lot of the stuff some of my Christian friends will be at like an abortion protest, and they will say, oh, we heard demons. And I'm thinking, they call me demon, you know, at other protests. I've been called a demon, and I sometimes have embraced the witch Tifa and voodoo Tifa just because it gets a reaction. It's performance. I'm not really a voodoo queen. I'm not a Satanist. I don't believe in the devil, but I joke about it. Now, I'm curious what you think.
Wow. It's a lot to unpack. All right. So the rise of Satanist culture comes from the 1960s with Anton LaVey, and which is very much of a bastardized version of Nietzsche and basic witchcraft, which you find like even the uprising of Wicca, very much reflective into the feminist culture, the very free loving culture that it was. So it was a very big thing in the 60s. So like Katharine Hepburn, for instance, was a Satanist. That continues to grow until you get into the, I would particularly say, the social justice movement warrior movement of the aughts. And then you see the uprising of the Satanic Temple. Now it's much more social justice warrior based, and they utilize like certain laws. No religion. I think I brought this up on your chat earlier. No religion has ever fought for freedom of speech more probably than the Satanic Temple. They're the ones putting the bafflement in front of the in the courthouses. They push for after school Satan, and that's what you're referring to.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, I was in charge of the Secular Student Alliance at my local university. So the Secular Student Alliance actually has ties with the Satanic Temple. Now, when I brought up them being shock rock atheists, what they subscribe to is what they call like secular humanism. So they're very big freedom of speech advocates, and they also believe in the separation of church and state. But we don't need ethics and morals to come from God, but they can come from our human understanding, things like empathy, basic human psychology, social sciences, lots of other things. So
Hey, Telescope. Back home, we just recently, this is something that comes back to where I lived in Indiana. We had over Christmas. It was in South Bend, I believe. Barry, I don't know if you know where South Bend, Indiana is.
Oh, of course I know where South Bend is. It's
I'm
the home
pretty
of the
sure it was
Fighting
South
Irish.
Bend, Mishawaka.
Yeah.
South Bend,
Notre
Mishawaka
Dame
area.
University, South Bend.
one second. It's the Veyan Satanism is a bastardized version of Aleister Crowley and Nietzsche. I've read the Satanic Bible in 10th grade. I know what it says.
Oh, okay.
So like I have all the books.
Was
I have Crowley here. I'll even show chat. I have literally a Thelema fucking tattooed on me. I'm very aware what Crowley is.
No, we had, but what I was going to say is that we also had, like, over the Christmas time, because the city displayed the Christian Christmas tree or whatever, they also pushed, and that was with the atheist club. That is, they were very strong with the atheist club there, and they pushed to have the like secular tree, whatever you want to call it. They had like the satanic. They had the LGBTQ. They had every kind of inclusive. So what you're saying kind of makes sense. It was like a social justice tree that represented everybody.
Yeah, the modern atheist and actually the new atheist movement's kind of got real weird, especially with some books. But you also have the thing. One second, and then what happens is you have the inclusivity being brought into the Satanic Temple, and they're, like I said, they're ones pushing for after school Satan. The ones are putting from, okay, you want to put your 10 commandments in front of a courthouse. I live in an area that actually has a 10 commandments in front of the courthouse, and I've like tried to advocate to get the Satanic Temple come down and put their 7-foot bronze statue of Satan. It's not Lucifer, because Lucifer is different than Satan. Not a lot of people know this. You might know this, DUFUS. Lucifer means morning star. It's a falling star. Even Jesus refers himself in the Bible as Lucifer. He refers himself as the morning star. What they're referring to in the Bible is Satan. And bear in mind also what that is. There's nothing besides later what transcribes as what they think. So like there's always something, the talking snake in the Garden of Eden, right? None of that actually is depiction of Satan. That actually became later in Old Testament. It was a way to thematically tie certain things there.
Okay,
but
go ahead. Okay, a couple of things I want to ask. You talk about the temple of Satan, and you talk about being an atheist. An atheist means that there is no deities, correct? Sure. All right, yeah. And then the temple of Satan. Are you not worshiping a deity in Satan?
It's a symbol. It's a symbol of free will. It's a symbol of humanism. It's a symbol of individuality. that you don't find in the Bible. So there's that what's the one statement of you separate it from the left and the right. The sheep come to the right, the goats come
The
to
wheat
the left.
and the chaff.
Yeah. So there's a separation between the two, and that's where you get the symbolism between those things. I think we really argue on my channel about symbolism and what certain things mean, and how words have meanings, and you have symbols, and them in themselves don't have power, but when people get behind those things, they have power. So, I mean, definitely.
But when people think about Satanists, like when you talk to just your average person in Indiana that I would have talked to, they're going to think Satan, oh my God. And they're going to blow it up to that huge. And what I've been trying to tell people is that I don't know a lot about Satanism, but I have met people who have subscribed to that. And they laugh at the fact that people think they're in the woods cutting up animals and doing all that stuff, because from what I could gather, my little interpretation is that they really don't believe so much in the right and wrong like the Bible does, and it's a more, like you were saying, more of a freedom.
Yeah,
I don't know how to say it, but
you don't need a moral society to come from the Bible. I mean, if you want to look at the morals of the Bible, you're talking about it's okay. You're literally looking at laws to say a girl needs to marry her rapist. You're looking at laws saying that, which are very incompatible with what we have. We understand that a married woman can be raped by her husband. Biblical law states that can happen. It's the choice of the husband, not to her. You're looking at dowries. You're looking at even the argument of, well, that's in the Old Testament. Well, the Ten Commandments are in the Old Testament. That's in Exodus.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Aunt, it's not in Deuteronomy. You haven't read the Bible. It's in Exodus. So you have a lot of those things. So like the new new atheist movement's very it's close with the new Satanism movement, especially with the Satanic Temple. Now there are Levan Satanists, and there are the people who follow the Satanic Temple, and there's also a thing called Luciferian Satanists. Those are people who actually worship the devil. To like the modern Satanist movement, they're much more shock rock atheists. They understand the symbol of Satanism, and they understand the emotional gravitation it pulls towards saying "Hail Satan," for instance, to another person.
And they use that to get a rise.
Yeah,
but not with any actual spiritual relationship.
No. Besides looking at Satan as a symbol of like individuality and free will and all that kind of stuff. Because if you want to look at the argument of free will,
is it rebellion?
Yeah, it's rebellion. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean that's the first thing. If you want to look at the first transcribed understanding of a being practicing free will would be Satan against God. Weirdly enough, God has a triple O, so he should have had the knowledge that was going to happen, but it still happened.
The thing I always find funny is that whenever something bad happens, it always gets blamed on the devil, and whenever anything good happens, it always goes glory to God. Yeah. And like, have you ever noticed, like Frank Ledford was one of those? So we'll go back to 76. Frank Ledford was saying about how the devil tried to stop him from getting to 76 because he came out and his tire was flat or some stupid shit like that. And I'm like, dude, maybe that's God telling you weren't supposed to be leaving your house and go to live with kids. Who knows? But people just kind of make shit up in their minds and subscribe everything bad to the devil. Everything.
Well, the devil's never wrote a book, has he? God wrote a book saying he was right. The devil's never wrote a book, so
yeah.
I look at things as symbols. I know it's different because DUFUS is he's a man of the cloth, so to speak. But,
well, DUFUS is the Christian representation here because I'm not a Christian, DUFUS, and so
and I'm not ashamed of my Christianity in any way, shape, or form. However, I am incredibly ashamed of people trying to co-opt what Christianity actually is. And once again, I'm going to say it's real simple. You just read Matthew chapter 5 through 7. Those are the words of Jesus. If you got a problem with them, you got a problem with Jesus, not with me. I'm just bringing the message. For those of you that are Christian and watching this, it's important that we watch this, in my opinion. It's important that we hear sides opposite of, or not necessarily in conjunction with our own beliefs. It's okay to be challenged, especially if you're firm in your belief.
I mean, I look at Jesus as a symbol, right? I look at Jesus as a humanist symbol. You feed the poor, you provide health care to the poor. That's what you do as a society. I think that's what he's kind of trying to promote. You know what I mean? Question the people who are in charge of, like, fuck it, attack the bankers. You know, and then but at the same time, it's like, look at those systems of control, and you need to make them betterment of society.
Barry,
And I'm fine with that. And I don't believe Jesus ever existed. But at the same time, I look at things as symbolic in nature.
Barry, it's a necessity to be challenged.
I agree.
It's a necessity. I'll say it again, to be challenged. You can't grow if you never listen to anybody that doesn't just agree with you.
And you can't know what's in a book that you've never read.
Yes.
And too many people have never picked up the book that they claim represents them. And while I'm on it, too many people quote Paul instead of Jesus. And Paul was a Roman that killed Christians during a time when Rome was trying to co-opt Christianity. So is it possible that Paul might have skewed some things towards Rome and away from Jesus? I don't know. Just something to think about.
Hey, here's an idea. Think of the Bible in this way, Barry. These were the old-time live streamers. The Bible is literally a bunch of old-time live streamers who are giving us, I would give you a different story of a protest than Telescope would. We would see two different things.
Yes, but you also have a lot of those people who didn't exist at that time. They would have been written about, especially Jesus, for the things he was done. I know people want to bring up Josephus. That's been proven to be a fallacy. Along with that, people believe they want to believe it. I don't believe in talking snakes. I don't. I mean, I think there's certain things that are more symbolic. I believe in biological evolution. If you want to say there's a prime mover and it was God, great. I have no issue. I have an issue when you go, like when I did my trip to the Ark Encounter when they're promoting anti-science beliefs and the world's 6,000 years old. That's dangerous. Because someone goes, hey, I believe that there's this and whatever. That's fine to me. I don't really, they're not my enemy on that. If DUFUS is arguing the Earth's 6,500 years old, we probably wouldn't get along.
I actually saw a flat earther. Me and Echo were out in Denton, Texas, and we saw this. It's on my live truck, and in the back it said flat earther on the back. I believe in a flat earth or something. And they had a telescope. They had we thought of it. They had a telescope. An old time telescope too, man, all tied up in there. We were trying to figure that thing out.
Karma. Yeah, they knew this was going to happen. So what do you think, Telescope? Are you a flat earther?
Oh, yeah. I just travel around the earth and just fall off every once in a while. Yeah. I get stuck in the great ice wall, you know what I mean? I got to get my dog sled.
All right. While we're at it, did we go to the moon?
Yeah, we went to the moon.
Lori, what do you think?
I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I'm one of those, you would call me a conspiracy person.
I kind of had a feeling you might be.
I'm good with conspiracy because that's why I'm so open to other people's beliefs and stuff, though, because I like to listen. I like to think it through. It could be, but I like to sit back and wait for those little fact things to come out first. So I hear a lot of stuff, though, that people really don't. They can almost convince you that we didn't go to the moon. Now I'm at the point where I don't know who the hell knows what's real anymore.
Okay.
Are birds real?
Are birds real? No.
Okay.
Not the ones near Mona's house. That's the BTL bots. But and we answer Mayor's question. I'm not a Satanist. I understand contemporary Satanists. As I've stated, most of them are not Satanists either. They understand the symbol of Satanism. That's what we're talking about. It's not that it's just a symbol. Just as Hades, just as Hades is a symbol. Because bear in mind, like angels don't look like people with wings, naked people with wings in the Bible. They look like chariots of fire with a bunch of fucking eyeballs on them. It's all brought from art, and so let's get back to what you're talking about. I just wanted to answer that.
No, that's fine. No,
I can't see the chat, so I'm not ignoring anybody, but I can't see it. So
okay. If somebody has something for Lori, put an @americandufus channel so that I'll see it in chat. It'll draw my attention possibly, or you can put up one of those like $100 super chat things.
500. 500.
I think
We're gonna get some real big.
Telescope got beer money yesterday. Now I thought he was going to bring it to, or maybe it was the day before. He's supposed to be bringing it to this chat tonight for us. I thought.
Yeah. Congratulations, dude! Somebody spotted you some beers, eh?
Yes.
Yay!
Yay!
I didn't ask for it. They offered it, so I just.
No. I wasn't trying to insinuate that. Sorry, no. Somebody just offered. It was not grifting.
Yeah. I mean, I'll never turn out a beer. I mean, in all honesty.
Okay. All right. So is there a branch, congregation, whatever, of Satanists that do go out and want to kill sacrifice animals to Satan or kids? Or, I mean, I know
1990s.
You said most didn't, but there hasn't there been some evidence that there are?
Yeah, just as much as other religions still sacrificing animals. If you want to talk about the sacrifice of animals, look at our how we get food.
The Jewish religion is highly based on sacrifice.
So for people who don't understand what halal
sacrifice.
No, what halal food means you have a priest come to it and blesses it and it slits its throat. That's what it means halal. It's actually much more vile and disgusting versus how we get our normal factory farmed meat every day, in that destroys our environment, which is a big contribution to climate change and water resource issues.
You realize that the Bible has human sacrifice in it, correct?
Yeah, it does. It also has God killed, I forget his name, for wasting his seed on the ground to not have sex with his, I think it's in Genesis or something like that.
He was supposed to impregnate her, and instead he pulled out, and he didn't follow through with God's command. So, yeah, God can be vengeful.
There's a lot of Catholics going to be in trouble.
He pulled out. He did the pull out method, and God killed him. So,
don't they use the pull out method?
Oh.
I mean,
I was raised Baptist.
So we have the arguments on morals. I mean, like, there's nothing fucked up shit in the Bible, okay? Don't be pulling out. You gotta comment them. If you rape them, you gotta marry them.
Yeah,
that's a weird one. It's really weird. It's really weird. I mean, read it. I mean, it's in there. It's not that fun.
Okay. There
it's
are
just
bad
like the
people
weird...
in every religion. There are bad Satanists. Okay.
There's more Christians.
A bad name.
There's more.
That just sounded funny. Giving Satanists a bad name.
Giving Satanists a bad name. Telescope's giving Satanists a bad name.
I guess. I never intended to be like the advocate.
That's going to be a meme tomorrow after this. You know that.
I know that. And I'm not even a Satanist. I'm an atheist. I'm just Satanism.
Onan was the person. Onan.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, not QAnon, but
no.
Barry.
It was Onan.
Yeah,
I did a live today, and I did a Facebook post, dude. It was about. It said "Proud American," and then it had the little symbol, and it said "No God required." Okay. Nobody's paid a damn attention to me. This is my more conservative people that supported me before the People's Convoy. Okay. So I've been kind of going and tittling back there. I haven't been on Facebook much till recently. Nobody's paying any attention to me. I put that one little post out there, and I had within an hour, I had 30 or 80 some comments on there. I mean, it just keeps going up. And I knew that was going to piss some people off, but I did not realize how. I mean, like, I've had people telling me, "Oh, you slid to the left. Oh, you're this." Oh, I mean, like, just the kickback from that one little post.
Jesus was a liberal. I'll just say that. That if you're a true Christian, if you really try to do what Jesus told us to do, you would be on the left in our current political situation. I'm not saying it should be that way, but that's the way we're lined up at the moment. And you've got an awful lot of Christianity's not based on hate, and you got an awful lot of hate-filled people on the right.
But you also, I agree with you. Jesus would be a liberal. But you also look at the thing as if I study demons. People would go, "That's evil. Why are you studying that?" King James was a demonologist. He wrote a book before the Council of Nicaea.
Before translating the Bible, yeah.
Yes, before the Council of Nicaea put that together, and there are things that's not in there. It's called the Apocrypha. You can find it at your local.
There are gospels that are written by supposedly people that were there that predate the gospels that are in the New Testament. There's
the Dead Sea Scrolls.
There's a book called Q, and it's an ancient book, and it is supposedly nothing but the sayings of Jesus. It's not put into biblical form. It is just all the sayings of Jesus. It's called Q. I had a copy of it before the divorce, but and that's one but it's a rare text.
The Apocrypha has like the Dead Sea Scrolls. That's the closest stuff written to Jesus's life. It's like about 60 years, I think. It was about 60 years.
The Gospel of Mary's in there. The Gospel of Judas is in there.
Honestly, it's kind of thicker than the Bible is. Oddly enough, I have a copy of that.
Yeah.
But King James was a demonologist. He studied demons. Go ahead. I'm done. That's all I wanted to say.
I'm sorry, but no, I'm just thinking, man. Barry said something about what would Jesus do, and you know what, dude? I have an idea that what Jesus would do. I don't know if he'd be right or left. I don't think Jesus would be either right or left. I think Jesus would come down and he would take those of us that are out there protesting against each other, throwing our little barbs at each other. And I think he would if Jesus was real, he would find a way for us to unite against. And he would treat our government the way that he treated the Pharisees of old. That's what I think, that he would find a way to get us to get together and find some way to get along and go after that, because that's that you want to talk about the evil is the shit that gets done to us every day, fucking people every day. That the shit, the wool, it gets pulled over our eyes, and we get sitting fighting each other to the extent to where we have Christians who are in the streets yelling at the unsaved and throwing barbs at them and insults and going out and doing horrible things to people that they feel they're justified to do. You tell me how that's Jesus.
Well, first of all, one thing.
Go ahead. Yeah.
the Native Americans did not believe in Christ unless you're trying to pull some Mormon stuff. And that thing is just an absolute wreck to even read. It obviously is a fallacy. The way it was written and everything, that's not how even people spoke at that time. Because you have the language and stuff. But no, I'm talking the chat. Lonnie in chat saying that Native Americans believed in Jesus. No, that's not true. Now some of them probably do now, but at that point, no, that's not true.
I've actually had, to all my haters out there, I want to tell them that I've actually had Christians come up to me and tell me that they wished I was Christian because I have more Jesus-like than most anybody they know.
Yeah, you prove your Christianity by how you live, how you treat people, where your priorities are, not by just proclaiming it and putting a badge on and claiming I'm a Christian, like claiming I'm a Republican or claiming I wear Nikes or claiming I drive a Volvo. It's not a brand. It is a transformative spiritual journey is the intention anyway.
Well, people forget that Jesus was, I know my Bible, dude. And so I can talk it. Jesus was bold. He was bold like a lion, but he was gentle as a lamb. And that's what these people just don't understand. And it really frustrates me because it's like, live your shit, man. Jesus,
well, they're the people who would kill Jesus.
Yes, they're the people who would kill Jesus because Jesus, I lived it for a while on my street there, dude. And when you walk up to people that haven't showered in 2 weeks in the middle of the heat of a summer, and they're scratching their arm like they don't know what's going on their arm, and they're, come on. And you hug them and they smell the high heaven that I've actually thought I might be getting head lice right now. You don't know what you're getting, but you give them that big old hug and you love them.
That's more Jesus. That's more Jesus than a lot of people that claim how Christian they are.
That's what Jesus did.
Yeah.
That's what Jesus did with, Now, Jesus was also he used anger, his righteous anger. And that's where I get it. I don't understand it. He went against the Pharisees. He went against the religious leaders like David Riddell. Jesus would have kicked David Riddell out of there in a heartbeat.
Well,
David Riddell's doves would have been up in the air and his coin tables would have been overturned in Jesus's righteous anger. Jesus would have run in there, grabbed those pedophiles by the ear and drug them out of there. That's what Jesus would have done.
That is one thing that they have been missing, that Jesus makes it very clear in his own words that you do not harm the children.
Under no circumstances.
And it would be better if you had a millstone tied around your neck and you were thrown to the bottom of the ocean as to what punishment awaits you for harming the children.
Sure.
Absolutely.
And I just don't understand how people want to use the get out of jail free card of Christianity, if you will, on something like that without using the, okay, there's a difference between forgiving and forgetting. Okay. There's a difference between, being excused for something and held accountable.
I mean, there's multiple. So Jesus wasn't particularly in those wording against slavery, right? So I would hold against him. That he didn't particularly go against
come
slavery.
Out against slavery.
He says you can't serve two masters. I think that's what he says. So he acknowledges slavery.
That was serving two masters was more about wealth or God, that you can't, if your focus is on obtaining your own wealth, not enough of your focus is going to be on God. So you serve one of the two masters. And he also said that you pay the government what you owe the government in your taxes, and that you render to Caesar what is Caesar's, you render to God what is God's. So he wasn't anti-government. I wouldn't say he was pro-slavery, but he didn't really.
The writings could have said, "Hey, you can't own another person." I mean, I'd probably get a lot more respect.
Yeah, I understand that. But I mean, that was the population, and it hasn't changed a whole lot. The population of an area becomes the spoils of war, just like right now in Russia and Ukraine. The more territory of Ukraine Russia takes over, the more Ukrainians suddenly find themselves Russian and shipped off to camps. I mean, it's it hadn't changed a whole lot in thousands and thousands of years, and I wish there was some way we had answers to change it. It's a step in the right direction, people getting together like we are and talking, coming from different backgrounds. But
we've talked about our government. I know Lori was going on her rant earlier today, right? And I was listening to it. It was really good.
I do go on rants, yes.
So bear in mind, you have the majority of our founding fathers were deists. Contemporary atheism doesn't really particularly come around till Darwin, because they had the issue of the philosophical argument of the prime mover and so it made them all deist. Prime example, Thomas Jefferson. One of the smartest thinkers in our history. Has he done wrong? Yeah. I mean, when he ran for president, they accused him of being an atheist, and definitely at that point would have been very sacrificial.
He took his Bible and cut out all the words of Jesus. His Bible is all the other words except what Jesus said.
And the miracles. He took out the miracles.
Wasn't it illegal for atheists to run for office at one point too?
Kinda, yeah. It was a little. Now we built our government on secularism based on a lot of these. I'm sorry, these thinkers were fucking. The people who founded our government are incredibly intelligent people. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. They're one of the smartest thinkers in our history. He took out the miracles. He took out the words of Jesus, and he found out that there was nothing in there. Rather than just looking at Jesus as a symbol, like the things that I promote. You know what I mean? If Thomas Jefferson were alive today, he'd probably be an atheist. Which is very weird, because the more educated a person becomes, the more likely they're becoming an atheist or some form of free thinker, whatever. There's lots of studies and everything involved with this, which is even representative of our own Congress and our elected officials. You're telling I think there's only one person in Congress, the last I checked, that was actually an open atheist, which is not even representational of our government or whatever.
But now wait, that doesn't mean that people are not intelligent or not as intelligent just because honestly, really, religion's about faith. It has nothing to do with facts or.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Lori. I give you that, because that's what comes into it's a matter of faith, right? Because they go, okay, this says this, and then other people go, well, that just means X, Y, and Z. That's just a story or a parable. And that really just kind of means we don't do this in the natural world. Now, there are people who literally believe the Bible, which are absolutely fucking crazy in my eyes. They need help. There's no way you can literally believe that thing. I went to their museums. I spent 2 days there, and weirdly enough, it wasn't cheap either. So, I mean, have fun my money.
It's a massive structure, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Covington, Kentucky, just across the river from Cincinnati. For those that don't know, the Ark Encounter.
There's lots of Christians. There's lots of Christians, though, telescope that, because I can remember having lots of conversations about things I in the Bible that just didn't make sense, or things about God or that just didn't make sense. And you try to talk them out, like but at some point you still have your faith.
When I was there, I mean, there might have been other atheists, but it wasn't that. It was very much representational of. I remember walking around the exhibits with my fiance and hearing people, and luckily I brought a bunch of booze with me because I was pounding it in the parking lot. And I spent a lot of time there that day. But they were going, "Oh, look at the truth," and I'm like, and weirdly enough, when you go there, they have the real scientific like argument. And then they have their argument right beside each other, like just on the wall. And it's like, what the fuck is like going on here? Like, it's the weirdest thing. Like, it should not exist. So, like, the Creations Museum is better. I will say that. The Ark Encounter is this thing of like, oh, it's a massive structure. So, like, and I was talking about this last night on my chat. It was like, so it's 550 cubits. That's how the ark is built. So a cubit is from the elbow to the ends of the finger. So it's about 21 to 24 inches. So I can even do like a measurement test on my video. You see it like, oh, I'm almost cubit or something like that. That thing could not be built at all. You don't have steel construction. You don't have concrete. And even outside of that. But that a 550 cubit ship of that monstrosity. No, we're not talking about even getting the animals on there or the evolution of animals.
Does it explain that? Does it explain how they got the animals on and where they kept the animals? Does it go through all of that, or is it just a representation of what the structure looked like?
So dinosaurs on the ship. They call them dragons. That's how they biblically go around it. Because they believe, bear in mind, they believe the Earth is 6,500 years old. And it wasn't adult dinosaurs; it was baby dinosaurs. So here's the weird thing, and you probably heard this too, DUFUS, is before they partook in the apple or the pomegranate, they were vegetarian, and then once sin got introduced, everyone started eating meat and killing and doing animal sacrifice. And now the argument is how the animals.
I never heard that.
You never heard that? Oh, okay.
No.
So what happens is when they got on the boat, the animals became vegetarian, and it wasn't big T-Rexes; it was baby T-Rexes. So that's how they could do the size differential on things. It's absolutely just non-compatible with anything we know of science.
The version that I was always told in my church though was that God made the animals so that they just kind of went into like a slumber, so that they didn't have to. They wouldn't eat each other, kind of back to like you were saying, Adam Eve times and Garden Eden. They just kind of went into a slumber. They didn't eat each other. That's how they got them all together.
Yeah. No. Their argument is they're vegetarian. They eat wheat, because you even see in there, they have a wheat bowl, like they're all eating wheat. It's very weird.
Wow. Okay. So how much did it cost to get in there? Is it like $40 or something, isn't it? 35 bucks a piece or something?
So how they sell it is, one second. I had to get another beer. Okay. It's kind of sold as like a 2-day adventure. All right. So like you do one day and you go there like the other place the next. That's kind of how it's sold to you, because you can't do it all one day. Because I mean, I guess you could, but it'd be incredibly difficult. I mean, I spent about 5 hours in the Creations Museum, and then the next day, like you can get down the Ark Encounter about 3. I would say, because there's multiple floors and you want to take everything. The Creations Museum is better. It's about $100 per person for 2 days. Now you can wait a day or two, like, because you can buy like the passes and all that kind of stuff. But like when you do a bundle, it's like $100 to do both per person.
Okay. All right.
And I have the videos on my I got better internet in the Ark Encounter, so you can actually see the whole Ark Encounter on my channel.
Okay.
The craziest museums
You
incredibly difficult.
You know what kind of museum I would like to go see? A toilet paper museum or something like that. Like evolution of toilet paper. And what did people use to wipe their asses 40 years in the desert?
Oh,
Their hand.
yeah.
The non-dominant hand.
I mean, seriously, I
That's
worry.
still
I wonder
a
about
lot
those
of that
things.
still goes on in the Middle East.
I heard it
What
happens
did
in
women
Finland
use
as
for
well.
their periods? What did women use for, feminine hygiene products? I want to know
Rags.
these
That's what it's
things.
called. That's why it's called on the rack, and I think the Bible even talks about this. You ship them away for a week and until they're done, and then they
put
come
them
back.
away. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know there's places in Africa where they do that too? The tribes will, when the women are on their periods, they will be in a hut and they're not allowed to leave the hut. No men are allowed in, and they're not allowed to leave the hut while they're on their period.
And they justify that from the Bible too. So look at it's a fantastic documentary. I suggest everyone to watch it. It's called God Loves Uganda. This is a country that has like I think 25% of the population has AIDS. That is very much descriptively been Uganda.
No, I said against women going away when they're on their period.
I mean, if they want to go away, it's fine. I mean, that's their own choice, right? But no, there's a document called God Loves Uganda.
Do what?
You're digitizing.
We lost you there for a second, Lori.
Mm-hmm.
No. Nope. I'm going to pop you out and bring you back in.
Yep.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, there's
Am I there now?
Okay.
All right.
I'm much bigger. I'm smaller.
There we go. Okay, try again, Lori.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
we got you.
Okay, well, I forgot what I was saying, so go ahead.
So there's a documentary called God Loves Uganda. Now the introduction of Christianity to that society has been incredibly irreprehensible to them. You have newspapers that target homosexuals. This is definitely done by the evangelical community. They will kill gay people there. Rapes happen a lot. You have a lot of weird bastardized preachers who think they're Jesus. The travesties that happen in that country, and that's very much distinctly done from the church. The church is very much targeted that country. Their anti sex ed ways have made AIDS very rampant in that country. Like I've said, this is a country that's like 25% of the population has AIDS. It is absolutely horrible. Which is very much very representational, and it came directly from the church. Before then, but yeah.
Lori, do you remember what you were going to say?
AIDS has been a tragedy to Africa.
Yes. Yeah.
It really hit that country hard for a lot of different reasons, but I can remember when AIDS all came out, HIV AIDS, all that came out, I was a teenager. And just from watching it from there, and the different care and the different way that it spread, it was really sad. I think I saw something where there was a road that was built, and because of that and the prostitution that was on there, that it ended up, is that right, Telescope? Do you know that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I also want to say this. I'm not trying to nuke your chat or whatever, but what I'm saying is true. Look up the science of this kind of stuff that happens over there. So if the truth hurts you, read a book.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So right. I'm sorry, DUFUS, because chat's getting mad.
Oh, okay. No problem.
No.
No problem. That's, that's their right. Chat has opinions too. I still want to find out who the dragon families are.
But here's the weird thing when we look at it biblically, right? You have Everyone's dead. Everyone's dead after, before once Noah's Ark happened, right? Besides Noah and his family, and of 8 people who constructed this thing that would not have been possible to do. Then we're all representatives of all of them. So it's really weird. And we're talking about 40 days and 40 nights of rain. That's not going to kill the entire Earth. I'm sorry. Make that a matter of faith, but
there are some scientific theories now that due to possible plate shifts and even possibly pole flips that led to the Noah event. People in science are actually calling that flood now the Noah event.
Well, you had floods. I mean, floods are pretty common amongst.
There's the Gilgamesh. Right? There's the Gilgamesh Sumerian flood story.
Yeah, that
predates Noah.
Yeah, and you have it within most cultures of a massive flood that affected them, but they didn't have the understanding how big the Earth is.
Okay, all right. Another thing to both of you here. Are we here one time, or do our souls come back? Are we reincarnated, if you will? Do we go through this until we get it right? Since you don't, if you're a Christian and you believe in heaven, hell, you're here. You if you do good, you go to heaven. If you do bad, you go to hell.
Sure.
How do you look at it? Do you look at it as we come around again?
Well, I mean, I think existentially you die to thus. Have you heard that?
Mm-hmm.
The one when you naturally die, and the last time anyone ever speaks your name. That's kind of where I take it.
That's kind of where you. Lori, what do you think?
Lori doesn't really know. I don't think I came back from any other time. I really think we only get one shot, which kind of sucks. Okay. It'd be kind of fun as long as I don't have to come back as a bug, something stupid.
I mean, you're talking about a massive heat death in the universe, right? Eventually, about 60 trillion years. There could be a cool multiverse kind of thing when we fall into another universe and X, Y, and Z, right?
I really don't know.
But what we know of what modern science predicts, there's going to be a massive heat death. At that point, is all the stars are going to burn out. There's no creation. You have black holes are going to dissipate. And there's going to be a massive heat death. So, I mean, that's pretty much what physics is doing.
I'm sorry. I struggle tremendously to think that all this started from some big bang somewhere. I'm sorry. I just can't. I see creation. I do believe something created this. Something created the life on this earth. I don't know what it is. I don't know who it is. It could be aliens for all I know. But something created this shit.
Well, it could be simulation theory. This could be a massive computer stream that we're all doing right now.
It could,
and we're all programmed
like the Matrix.
Yeah. I mean, it's a possibility, but I mean, I don't put too much faith in it. But I probably have more faith in that than God, honestly.
Okay.
I'm putting my faith in. I'm gonna guess aliens. If I had to put money, it would be on aliens.
Do you know how hard that would be? You know how big the universe is, the distance and the way to get things to travel. You're talking, so aliens would really run by the same evolution that we would. Bear in mind, so most solar systems.
Hold on a second. Wait a second. You said aliens would be bound by the same evolution we are?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure. Okay,
similar solution, because we're talking about materialism here. You're looking at the first probably 4 to 5 planets sometimes of every solar system are rocky planets that have materials. Outside of that, you get to your gas giants. You study astronomy, so you have the gas giant afterwards. Pretty much every solar system we've ever found has been bound by that. Then you deal with the sun. The sun is, but they last 5 billion years or something like that. I'm not quite sure. It depends. And then you deal with the when they become a red giant, then it starts swallowing other planets, or like a super giant or a super red, becomes much more massive. So what happens is they need materials to do things. Now you're talking about a natural age of evolution for them to become from some little thing in the water to some sentient being. On top of that, having an understanding of mathematics far beyond our human comprehension. And then also not even that, locating other places that have things. It's incredibly small. I mean, what I think the closest place the sun we can get to is, I think, is what Alpha Centauri, right?
Mm-hmm. Supposedly, yeah.
Going, but the mathematics that we could do, you're looking at, I think, what, 80 years or something like that. So you're looking at like how long we can construct life and like really like throw all of our fucking resources in it, but we're all like still bound by, and obviously if you were even to do it, you're going to be putting the smartest fucking people that you've ever known on a ship that are going to, you're looking about 3 generations that's going to be living on this ship, and you're going to have to teach them that, you know what, you're going to have to procreate and teach them everything. You're going to have to make them much more smart. Like it's not possible. It's not feasible. I'm sorry.
I think you're going too much. See, that's the thing with science, the problem I have with putting too much faith in the science, dude. And maybe this makes me stupid, but science changes, and maybe they have better science than we do. Maybe their mathematics is way beyond yours. Maybe they can get interdimensions. You don't know.
True.
I'm sorry. I'm going to be a realist at this one. Yeah, I would love to agree with you, but I don't. Okay.
No, you don't have to agree with me.
I don't.
Yeah. We don't.
I mean,
we don't.
In a perfect universe, yes, I agree with you. Let's just say that.
I mean, because science does not have all the, I will say, science does not have all the answers. There's too many things that happen can't explain yet.
You know why? That's why we have peer review processes. That's why science suggests things. That's why it doesn't prove things. When you want to study truth, you study philosophy. When you want to study science, it suggests things, because that changes. We subjectively experience things through our own senses, through our own consciousness. That there's always a separation of the subjective versus the objective, and that's why you have those studies and those reviews.
I guess my point is that at one point scientists believed this, and then they realized, later on that, that scientist was wrong. And so it does kind of change. And so what we think today is absolute we find out later, whoops, we were wrong, because we found more science. We found more information. We found more truth. And so I'm not against science. I just think that science changes. And so to me, I always think, well, there could be more, though. There could be the new science. I don't want to totally say it could never happen.
Is there a danger in artificial intelligence?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the top 5 things, isn't it?
That's more likely than aliens.
Yeah, that's more likely than aliens.
You mean as far as causing the destruction of mankind?
About being real and causing the destruction, both.
Okay.
I would say at this point we're also transhuman as well.
We're transhuman?
Yeah, we're distinctively conditioned, even by our jobs or even what we're doing right now, right? We depend on technology to live a certain function of our life. We utilize the internet as a secondary brain to us. That is a great asset, and it can also be part of our downfall as well. But yeah, no, we are definitely transhuman.
Do you think the reality of people living their lives strictly online are we here yet, to where the focus for a lot of people is more about what's online than what is going on touching grass, if you will?
Yeah, I experience every day. I do live streaming sometimes up to 19 hours a day. I mean, it's addicting. To say you get the dopamine hit or the serotonin hit or anything involved with that, yeah, it's been. I think you know that. I think that Lori knows that.
It would be disingenuous to not say that we are not doing that.
Look what we did.
It would be disingenuous to say that we are not doing exactly that. We are living online. We are trading human contact in real life with boots on the ground to an online relationships and living our lives online. You don't have to leave your home.
Lori's probably the only counter protester I still talk to. We met each other. You and I talk several times a week, Doofus. I talk to Jeff, usually after every live stream or that I do. There's people who send me things every day. I don't know these people at all. I have no, like if you want to go in that basis, we're very much going towards that way. You saw the social conditioning of our school system going that way during the pandemic. That's very much conditioning us to do that. Now, there's also a separation of that because we also create ourselves to be characters. We've talked about this plenty of times. And I mean, what do we want to promote?
We've done it publicly, but
you and I've had discussions. You and I have had discussions about this before. You want to be the doofus, and I want to be the drunkard on the couch. We're not that dumb. But at the same time, it's like that's how we're doing it. We're placating ourselves of some sort of artificial reality that becomes a reality that's very much more than we are, because it's easier to get the dopamine hits from the screen and what we perceive someone hearing us or not hearing us, or even people arguing with us in a chat, and we respond and we have an emotional.
Look at how our protesting even has changed. From boots on the ground, you have to get out of your home to go protest. You don't even have to do that anymore. You can just super chat somebody or just follow them around on their live stream and support them. And it's a crazy world now. But what it's opened up is all these people who couldn't get out before. And I'm talking about us older ladies and gentlemen. We are now able to get out. You got people who are, whether it's through a fear to leave their homes, or they are older, they can't get out, or they have some kind of physical condition. They're now able to get out through other people. They're able to find community and speak to people where before they just got left at home.
Good point. Yeah, they're living vicariously through what you and Telescope were doing on the mall and at Bunker Hill.
Absolutely. But that opened, because of that, though, it's gone even beyond that to where we have people now. I don't know about Telescope, but like me, we have little communities back here that are talking all the time. But you guys might talk. I talk to Doofus. I have group chats with different women, different groups of us that all get together, Cunning, and all them girls. We got us back there. We got our little back chats that when things are happening, nobody sees it but us. And we are talking about what's going on, and we're all community together. It's been a really cool thing. So social media can be a blessing to us while it's our downfall.
I think we all put that online reality trolling that's been developing over decades at this point on the ground. It's the first time I've ever seen a protest ever do it. And we did it, and it's had its benefits and it's had its downfalls. And very much what Doofus said, and he kind of stole the words from my mouth. People look at us as characters that live vicariously, because this reality show is incredibly different than anything else I've ever seen. There is no one controlling it but us, and maybe some people's donators or the chat, and the empowerment of our own values and our own principles, and doing it.
Interesting.
It's weird. It's a weird social. It's never gonna be replicated ever again.
It
It's
was
an
weird.
interesting way to look at it. That you said that you all took the art of trolling and you transcended that into protesting. You were protesting by trolling.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I hadn't thought about it that way. Go ahead, Lori.
Well, no, and the protesting, the protesting wasn't just, it was not just organic like that. And I'm trying to think how to say, we not only protested on the ground by live streamed it. Behind the scenes, we were constantly online. This has become an online protest. We are protesting people online now.
Yeah.
We don't even have to go to their venues.
True.
Literally, you can go online and start complaining and telling people, and then you just contact instead of standing outside their business, you contact their business and tell them you don't like what's going on.
But bear in mind, this is what I've kind of had the reflection from the last few days, Lori, is it's ended the way it started. So you have like Eric and Jersey J and the Squirrels and Mona back on Reds. Well, that's AFC, right?
Right.
You have a lot of DPCers on Truth or Cops channel. You have BTM alive and well on my channel.
Mhm.
And it started online. That like I weirdly enough was the first person who just went down there. I'm like, hey, I'm from this fucking chat. Fuck your movement. I don't agree with it, right? But I'm here to try to figure out what the hell's happening. And it's all ended the way it began, but now it's online. So Doofus did say this months ago, and I give him credit for this year in the phone too. So he's like, it's gonna go online now. Until we get some money from Wells Fargo and Ancestry.com, and we do Camper Wars, and then it's going to be just.
And then you got the poor little unicorn all by herself.
No, come on.
She doesn't belong anywhere. No,
But-
you know what though? Seriously, it's the truth. I don't belong anywhere. I have felt very lonely in my country until recently.
There
Because
are
I
a lot
have-
of us that feel that way. That
Dude,
we
I've
don't,
been so lonely in my country.
Yeah. There are a lot of people that feel that way. They don't belong in a political party. They don't belong in a religious congregation. They don't belong in a neighborhood. You know, there are a lot of people that are disenfranchised, that don't feel they belong, that are finding communities like we are trying to facilitate online where they can belong.
Well, there was always community building. I mean, even TPC was community, right? AFC was community. BTM was community. I'm sorry, you guys sucked at doing it. Not you, Doofus, but Lori and Andy, right? That there was still community there. Now, bear in mind, there's always those issues within those communities, right? I even get to my own self of people shit talking me because I'll tend to platform anyone if they have a really good opinion. So yeah, there's always been community building at the fundamental basis of all this. And people want to be heard, and people want to be noticed and recognized, and all those very basic the Maslow's hierarchical needs. So yeah.
That's what I've noticed. Something that oh my God, I read this letter from a guy that protested me every Saturday, this young kid. And he used to protest against me, and then we'd sit and talk, and we became friends, and he wrote me a letter, a real heartfelt letter. I mean, like 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, 2 pages, 4 sides. And then he moved to Portland, Oregon. So I haven't ever heard from him again. I don't know where this kid is, but I read it again recently, and it really opened my eyes to something he said in there about fighting for freedom. And I was like, oh my God, it just hit me so hard. I was like, you know what? I'm looking around, I'm going, everybody's jumping up saying, I want my freedom. I want my rights. They may not all, everybody wants their freedom. They want their rights. They want to belong. They want the same fucking things. We're all fighting for the same shit, but we don't listen to anybody else's. It's like we don't want to listen to everybody else's freedom problems. We want our freedom problems solved. We want our right problems solved. We don't care about their rights. We want our rights solved.
We also have the same thing.
Open up and start looking and caring about the other people's rights as much as we care about our own, their freedoms as much as we care about our own, and then maybe we'll make some progress.
Well, yeah, I'm not if you really want to fight for freedom, you fight for the freedom of the people you disagree with.
Absolutely.
The ACLU has had court cases defending the KKK, for instance. Right. Yeah. And I think all of us collectively can probably share in something that we've been experiencing lately, no names mentioned, about people who want to stand up for freedom, but they go, you can't go here if you want to come here.
Yeah.
Those people need to very much reflect of what they understand by freedom.
And at the same time, I think we all have our lines in the sand, if you will. You know, or at least I know I do. I'm not going to identify with or associate with somebody that's racist. I'm just not, you know, I mean, that's just who I am. Now, that doesn't mean that if you choose to associate with them, I'm not going to, you know, disassociate with you. You know, and I don't understand how people get to where they think they can control who you talk to.
Well, they don't believe in freedom, do they? They believe in echo chambers.
People can only control who you talk to if you let them.
Yeah. And what I do is I try to push back. I try to build a good community of people to provide their opinion. Because bear in mind, a lot of the time the chat just wants to be heard. And it doesn't matter if they want to be on panel or not. When you take away their freedom of speech and you take away their agency, they recognize that and they'll disrespect you if you do that to them. I've gained respect from people. I have people on my chat that don't like me, that literally do not agree with about 98% of what comes out of my mouth. But they go, you know, you let me speak and you treat me with respect. And they like that.
If I didn't associate with people that I was, you know, when people said you shouldn't associate or don't associate with that person, I never would have associated with Telescope. I never would have associated with Ant. I never would have associated with AP. I never would have associated with JMet. I never would have associated with any of these people because I would have had people from, remember, my supporters were conservative right people. Do you think those people were telling me go talk to those people?
No.
But I did it against my own, quote unquote. I did it against it because I knew that's what I needed to do. And that was what was right for me. And I wasn't going to listen to them. And I'm still not going to listen to anybody that tells me who I can and cannot talk to because I will not live in an echo chamber, damn it. I won't.
Yeah.
I mean, you shouldn't have to. I mean, weirdly enough, when we look at our Constitution, right? I have it right here. It's the one you got from TPC. I mean, 76, I guess.
Yeah.
The one they're literate enough to read. It's not that difficult. It's not that long, right? States' rights is in there for a reason. There's other amendments in there for a reason. That was a collective, just people coming together of going, okay, we can recognize that would be an issue and we'll agree to that.
Now, I want to address, though, what Barry said, because that's important. While I won't let somebody tell me who to talk to, right? There are lines in the sand people that I won't associate with. Mm-hmm. I just won't. And I won't associate with people who associate. So, you know, if they want to associate with Nazis, well, then that's their right. They can. Mm-hmm. I can very quietly not associate with them too. Like I would say to anybody, I would go and do an interview with a Nazi. I would do it. Of course I would. I would talk to a Nazi, no problem. But you know what? If I was at a protest, Barry, And I was sitting there protesting something, and a fucking Nazi came up and tried to protest next to me. You better damn well believe that I would turn around and I'd be protesting the fucking Nazi, saying, Nazi, go home, until they left. And then I'd go back to my fucking protest, because I don't stand with Nazis. I don't stand with the KKK. I don't, and I won't, and I refuse. And I don't stand with pedophiles.
Well, you know what's interesting about that? I know we all got in the pedophile thing, right? The most mind-blowing thing that I've learned this summer, I thought it was collectively that we just understood as a society it was wrong to fuck children.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, in all layman's terms. And,
Yeah, but
it was like hearing people defend it. And I was like, I thought when we look at these charges and definitely when people like plead guilty to these charges, that like, hey, I really don't want my 7-year-old around them. That was probably the most mind-blowing thing I've experienced this summer. Like, it wasn't the collective communities. It wasn't, all of us, having our back end deals and get to know one another and laughing and crying and the whole spectrum of human emotion that we shared with one another. And bear in mind, I'm being sentimental because the 1-year anniversary is coming up.
Yeah.
It's that basic premise that it's just absolutely mind blowing. I've had people literally tell me, and there's probably gonna be people in your chat agreeing with this, that they go, I'd rather have my kid around Bandit than Telescope.
Ah!
I've heard all the time.
And you know what the funniest part of that is when I would be out protesting, like in Indiana and different places, when I protested where they were, and I'd be out there with my little signs, and somebody would come up and they'd be like, what's going on? And I'd start telling them about this group, and they go, oh, those Democrats. I'm like, no, wait, all that shit you heard about Democrats? This is the right doing the exact same thing you heard they were doing. Right here. And then I tell them the whole story, and they just look at me with these big amazed eyes, because to them, the pedophile lovers are on the other side, No.
And we've got this term now, MAP, right?
Yes, that's sick.
Minor attracted person. People that are attracted specifically to minors.
Well,
isn't that pedophilia?
They're KFs, kid fuckers.
Yeah, but the thing is no one wants more freedom than pedophiles, right? In all honesty.
Yeah.
I mean, once you go to that social taboo level, right? Of, hey, I'm gonna. Yeah. Because the thing is, when you're around them, like, they make excuses for it. There's been lots of studies on it. It's disgusting to read. It's disgusting. I've worked for multiple years, taken care of by the state, people who were sexually abused. It never goes away. It's like, okay, they have to reframe their brain of, I'm not a victim, but I'm a survivor, right? Summer does an incredible job talking about this stuff. I love her to death. She's just a wealth of knowledge and experience, and I don't even try to get to her.
She is, yeah.
And that's what happens. And a person like me, I wasn't sexually abused as a child, so I can empathize to understand, because that's the one thing that we're talking about morals and stuff earlier. It's like we can use psychological basis of putting ourselves in those people's shoes, and we can somewhat determine what it is to go through that. But unless you have the phenomenological experience, you don't know.
No. You can't understand unless you've gone through it.
And the problem is, you have all these people that do that, and then they go, yeah, child rape's wrong, but this person said they were innocent because they're a right-wing person and they drove a fucking trunk and went honk honk freedom. Fucking disgusting to me. And I don't want to be an advocate telling people to kill themselves, but like, please look yourself in the mirror. You're what's wrong with the society. It doesn't.
At Telescope, it leads to people are just, they listen. Somebody says freedom, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, you're great. No. We have to start thinking beyond. Like I was saying, I'm going to lose some people. I know I'm losing people right now just because putting that one stupid little post on Facebook, but that's okay.
Well, it is okay because we need to realize, especially the people that are Christian, that do believe in God, we need to realize that this country is not just about us, but it's also about those that are of no God. Just like you said, one America, no God.
Yeah.
And we'll never obtain unity as long as we allow things. There are going to be things that are going to divide us. Pedophilia, right here, we know that there are those of us that are never going to accept it, while we know there are those that try to excuse it.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to unite with those people.
No.
So we have to also understand the concept of unity is not a 100% thing. We're never going to get there. We
No.
need to unify as many people as we possibly can across as many lines as we can, while also understanding there are going to be lines we're not going to cross.
And there's some we shouldn't cross.
Absolutely.
There is no, listen, I have said this over and over with this whole 1776 and this pedophilia with kids. There is no freedom that I have or that I could ever have or would fight to keep that is worth a child being raped.
No.
I won't sacrifice any child's life for my freedom.
No.
I can't even imagine a freedom I would give up to have a child raped. Now, who thinks that freedom is so important that they would literally put a child in that position and put a pedophile, more than one pedophile, in a community that had no idea they were there? Not just in a parking lot, but in a community. Bringing pedophiles into we have not really talked about that, about the communities that these people have brought pedophiles to. They didn't tell those people that they were bringing pedophiles into their community. They just let them run rampant around in there. Now, yes, there's pedophiles everywhere. I get it. Yeah, there's pedophiles at Walmart, but these people knowingly.
Yeah, there's a difference about, I mean,
brought those in and invited children from the community to come in to their area. You understand, to bring people
promoted events that had games for kids.
Yeah.
Rallies, things like that. Yeah. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the kind of stuff that it's like, think this shit through, people. I mean, how selfish can you be? There's nothing more selfish than putting a child next to a child rapist and saying, well, if anything happens, I'll be the first one to kill him. Well, good. You killed a pedophile. Great. But he just got another victim. And there's a child who will never get over that.
No. Yeah.
A dollar late,
Yeah. I do know.
Yeah. It's kind of sickening.
It impacts the rest of the life. It impacts future relationships. It messes people up.
Barry, I think the thing that surprised me the most, and it shouldn't have, was that the Christian church people that accept pedophilia, that was the one that really confused me, even though I've been through it in my family, the whole thing with my dad trying to molest me, and just, having all these Christian and church people give excuses or try to give excuses and all that. And I should have been prepared for it. But I wasn't. And I got there. I really believe you tell people about the pedophiles, they're going to say, oh my God, no pedophiles. Oh my God. And instead there were just way too many who just,
you were lying for bringing the message.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know there are people who literally say that like for those of us who have protested against them, we're getting what we deserve, especially with these false POs and all this stuff. Because if we would have just been quiet, we would have never had any kickback. Well, I'll tell you what, you bring your fucking POs on, you bring on whatever you want, you will never shut me up about pedophiles.
Yeah. And the thing is about that too is, here's the residual thing that people don't understand about child sexual abuse. People who are experience child sexual abuse tend to at a very significant rate
be abusers themselves.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. And that's what 76 is full of.
And it's much easier to excuse it or to, you know.
Yeah.
Telescope hit on the perfect thing right there, because that is what was confusing also back in with 76 and all that. I had people like naughty girl Aubrey, hippie mama, trying to tell me about her victimization. And yet here she is with the victims trying to support, excuse, and all this actual pedophiles. So people who, just because I have had so many, there's a lady, Tracy, she went out and protested against me with a sign that said I was a psychopath or something. And she's always coming after me and calling me, saying that I'm not really a victim and all this stuff. And I'm fake victim and she's a real victim. Well, no, there's two kinds of victims when it comes to sexual abuse, in my opinion. There's the kind who they hate pedophiles. They do not like, they're hurt by it. They hate it. Then you got the ones who, for some reason, they fall into some kind of relationship with it where they just excuse at all costs. And they actually help pedophiles. They'll bring children to pedophiles for them to rape.
I mean, not to be a cynical asshole, right? And make my jokes. But at the same time, it's like, look at her list of things that she would do on the Naughty Aubrey site, right? One of them is daddy, younger girl.
Yes.
Situations. She's pregnant now. There's a whole, and I'm not advocating for it. I hope you don't. Because bear in mind, you eat feces and drink urine piss. And that's just disgusting in itself. But you also have like a whole pregnancy porn kind of industry as well.
She has pregnancy porn that she did. I have the screenshots.
Yeah. So the pregnancy porn is, obviously you're sexually abusing a child, weird enough, if you want to go into the ethics and the morals of that. You're pregnant and you want people to hopefully hit your child with their penis.
Is what Lori was talking about in the people that accept it and even bring their own kids to be abused? Is that like a Stockholm syndrome?
Well, that's what happens with a lot of sexual abuse. It's very weird, like this studies and stuff like that. Summer's amazing. She is just an encyclopedia of knowledge. The first time I met her, you had her on her show, and I had my questions for her. Her and I had her debate, and I even conceded myself. Telescope conceded. I was like, okay, I'll shut the fuck up. This is a complicated issue. You're talking about trauma, how people internalize trauma, how people overcome trauma, what they do with it. It wouldn't surprise me if probably Hippie Mama experienced some of that in her life. But I don't.
I'm just repeating what she told me.
It wouldn't surprise me. The feces stuff.
Lori, hold on a second. Lori, she told you that she had experienced sexual SA trauma.
Yes, because I had a conversation with her, and
because that changes a lot of things,
Yeah. Well, and that's and the thing about, like, they try to use the Frank Ledford thing as he's a victim. Oh, he was a victim, and they have found a gold mine with him because it was a man in a dress that did it. And so anytime I tried to bring Frank Ledford up to like David Riddell and them, they just want to scream about, you mean that perverted man in a dress that tried to, and they get stuck on that man in a dress did it, instead of realizing that Frank Ledford is a predator. He may have been molested, but he then went on to molest.
So the thing is with cults. So here's the weird thing about me is I went down there because I went to TPC, right? And then that's why I really started much more following them like directly. And they were doing, and I'm sorry, Eric, they were doing morning at TPC, they were doing morning preaching sessions with a preacher. And morning prayer. And Santa was a failed preacher. In my opinion, is Santa is a failed cult leader. And that's what he wanted. And he found that uprising. The first time I saw him, I think he was yelling at was it Alice Glasgow or something like that? It was someone he was yelling in their truck. Is like, don't use any cuss words and like try and dictate other people's behavior. Even though all that was socially acceptable down there. That's the first time I ever saw Santa. Then that uprose into the 76 thing, but quickly, I'm telling you, by like the second rally, and like I spent 3 days like writing like an interview for him because he said he would do an interview with me at that point, and it was directly about like the red flags I was getting about them being a cult. I planned on doing it at Berkeley Springs because I even weirdly saved my battery power that day because I didn't have a battery bank or anything. And I came up to him afterwards and asked him like, "Hey, do you have time to do an interview, like maybe an hour or something like that?" And he's like, "No, I'm tired," and blah, blah, blah, blah. And he had a bunch of like elderly women around him. He's like, this all takes all the energy out of me. So you can go to Bunker Hill on Tuesday and, like come down here and we'll have an interview. And I'm like, dude, like that's 2 hours away from me. I'm not driving down there. Like I'm here right now. Like maybe I'll come to your next rally, but like, that's just not going to happen. And that's when the doxing and all that kind of stuff happened. So I never did it. And then obviously once I did the, counter protesting. I think that went out the fucking window. So.
Lori, were you part of the People's Convoy when Tully was at those rallies?
No, she wasn't.
Did she leave?
I don't think she's here right now, but she wasn't there.
Okay.
She left a few days into the TPC. I'm sorry. The 76 rallies. And once 76 started.
You went to the 76 rallies. Did you go to the TPC rallies?
I was at one.
Okay.
I went to, it was like middle of March when I went. I have a video on my channel about it.
Okay.
Of me walking around there. And I even I even state certain things when I was putting together. I'm like, because they make like jokes. I'm like, this is kind of cultish down here. And then you saw the uprising of them doing the morning prayers, and then, later they turn into a full-blown cult. In all honesty, luckily no one lost their life yet. Hopefully no one loses their life. But it became a full-blown cult. I was getting that experience at the second rally. It was real cultish.
Sorry, I had to take a potty break.
No problem. That's what I was going. I need to take one too. I don't want to end the stream,
Sure.
But I need to take a potty break too. So
I heard you ask me a question.
You have. I'm telling you, DUFUS. You have Lori and I on here. We'll go for 5 hours.
Lori, what I asked was if you were part of the TPC rally that Telescope was at, and he said you weren't there.
Nope. I was only there for. I was there a very short time with 1776. I was so against David Riddell from the very beginning of that.
She wasn't at 76 at that point. No. No, she was in their beginning, and by the time they had their first rally, she was gone. I wouldn't matter.
Oh yeah, because I stayed as long as I did because there were some people there that I was trying to stay with.
Alex
Trying to get them
Glasgow.
out.
Alex
got kicked
Glasgow.
out.
Can you and Tully talk about Alex, or
Sure.
answer some questions from the chat?
Yeah, I'll answer questions in the chat. It's fine.
I'm going to take like a 2 to 3 minute quick break here to go to the bathroom and refill my Mountain Dew, and I'll be right back.
Oh, I just had to do it myself, so we can.
All right.
we can go. And trust me, I'll answer. We can do a chat questions.
No, I liked Alex, and Alex was the one that stood up to David Riddell right away.
Yeah, he was the one who got cussed out near the truck, wasn't he?
Dude, the minute that David Riddell took over, which was the very beginning, Alex kept trying to. Alex is pretty smart. He all through the People's Convoy, he was saying, lawyers, we got to contact lawyers. We got to be smart about this, Yeah. And everybody just kept ignoring him. He's got his own story, but they wouldn't listen to him. A lot of times when he would try to bring things up, Wizzy, I've seen that where Wizzy has actually, you're just causing trouble, and stuff, and shut him down. Well, then when 76 and David Riddell was taking over, Alex was trying to say, hey, what should we do about lawyers? What can I do? He's a real go get 'em kind of guy. He's a real smart guy. He thinks. And he's a doer. He likes to figure out how to figure problems out.
I'll tell you what.
He doesn't want to just sit bitch. He wants to get them done.
Emma Stick destroyed his ass. He was a BTMer at the.
Oh, is he?
Emma Stick actually confronted him down in DC. He was a BTMer.
When I was there?
Maybe. I've seen the video of him confronting him.
Was it the Change My Mind or Change My?
No, it was the where was it at? It was, I think was it the Jefferson Memorial or was it the Lincoln Memorial?
He
was sitting there. Okay, and you got confronted by a person. They were arguing about the Emergency Power Act. That was a BTMer.
I think that's that guy because did he have a younger kid with him too?
It might have been his son, yeah. But that was a mistake. That was a mistake.
I actually talked to his son and had a what I thought was a nice little conversation with his son.
Actually, Emma Stick went down when I was doing the protesting in DC. I never got to meet him. So I invited him to come down, and he came down because he shared the photo of me in front of the stage. And I was like, why? He's like, yeah, I saw you and Whistle Girl and AP sitting in the lawn. I'm like, well, why did you come over? Like, I would totally love, to meet you.
If you ever want to piss off David Riddell, just have Alex Glasgow show up because I'll tell you what, that man triggered him like nobody else I've ever seen.
I don't know. I had him pretty triggered down DC. Too bad you weren't there when I went down there. I had him in Bunker Hill, but like when I was chasing his ass around at 2 a.m. in DC, he was fucking smoking regular cigarettes. And I was getting him shit. I'm like, oh my, you can't charge your fucking battery if you're taking XYZ dollars of donations and you can't charge your fucking your vape pen. I'm like, I'm not dumb with you, motherfucker. Like, you want to fucking dox people. You want to defend doxing. Like, I'm fucking here right now. Let's fucking go. You fucking failed cult leader. Oh yeah, no, I mean, that was.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and that's, like I said, I brought this for that. That's the weird thing that stuck out to me too. It was the when I was doing that, I was like, okay, I'm down here protesting. Where the fuck's Santa at? And they're like, well, he's in the RV with fucking Mom and Pa. I'm like, okay, let's go to the RV and wake them the fuck up. And then like Mel's like, oh, we can't make up Mom and Pa. We can't do that.
Dude, you have no idea how happy I was. You guys were like rock stars to me, all of you. I mean, like I know that when I met you, I had like little puppy dog eyes following you around, like, oh my God, like, oh, he walks on sunshine. You were like a little super internet star that I got to come see because I left 76 and I've been very clear. I did not like David Riddell. I did not like the movement. I did not like I figured they were going to peter the fuck out and I was going to watch them. Right. But then they let the pedophiles in and I started getting all upset, and I wanted people to go down and do something. I wanted somebody to speak up, and then you guys all showed up. AP, you, I saw Ant was on there when the squirrels were down there. And I'm watching you guys against them. You guys were doing what I had been asking people to please go do something, say something. It was awesome to meet you guys. It was like, you guys were my heroes.
Yeah, it's super awesome to see you. Because I mean, once I left down there, right, like you went down there like a few days later. And I was on the back end, you know, with people's cell phones, and I was calling the cops. I was watching the streams. Now, bear in mind, I came from an internet community that was vilified. I was vilified of being a part of. I was literally doxxed for going to their open rallies. They want people there. Well, I'm there, and I'm going, hey, like, I don't agree with you, but like, I'm okay with having a conversation, as I do today. And there were people who were receptive to it. Eric was receptive to it. He and I have our issues. You know, Wyckoff was receptive to it. Wizzy was receptive to it. Not saying that Wizzy didn't want to have it on record, but you know, we have our normal discussions of we kind of go, yeah, we disagree on this, and then he'll just flip out randomly. But
did you have any interaction with Wizzy when you were on the mall?
No.
Lori, did you?
I'm trying to remember. I don't think I did.
No, Wizzy wasn't there.
I can't remember. An interaction between either one of you and Wizzy at the mall or at Bunker Hill.
I sure as hell remember that beeping. Beeping.
So I outed myself at the first rally, and so I went to TPC and walked around, and I came from the Doe side, and then those guys strike BTM upstarted X, Y, and Z, and I was like, once they have their rally, fuck it, I'll go down there. It was on a weekend. I'm like, hey, babe, want to go down there? And then I try to get live streaming to work on my phone, and I couldn't get it working on there. So I get there, and they're like, I'm on the chat. I'm like, I'm fucking here. This is what I'm wearing. Like, where do you want me to stand? You can see me. And then like Rose is on stage, like giving her speech, or whatever. And then they're like, go stand in front of the fire truck. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm in front of the fire truck. Like, can you see me? They're like, no. And they're like, okay, go donate some money. Like, do the donation thing.
Now this is the BTM chat interacting with you on your phone while you are at
Bunker Hill. All right. At this point, I want people to understand the real BTM chat. Like, I destroyed the analytics and numbers. Okay, like we're not even on a comprehensible level. Like, I destroy it. It's literally just a solid 30 of us. Like, in all honesty, like at this point. And we would keep them up all night just fucking with them because all of us have alts. I'm down there and they're like, okay, pull out some money. So I'm like, fuck, I only have like $5 in my pocket and I'm not giving this group $5 at all. So like, I look at my fiance, I was like, do you have any fucking change on you? And she was like, yeah, I have like 26 cents. So I'm like, perfect. Burn them out. And they're like, yeah, go put it in the donation bin. I'm like, where the hell is this donation bin? They're like, well, it's right in front of Rose. She's giving a speech right now. I'm like, okay. And I go up there and I donate it. And when I walk away, I have a PBR in my hand. I think I might have a cigarette to it. And I just give a smile. Like, you know what I mean? And I fucking walk away and I get in my chair and they're like, holy fucking shit. Like, you're there. And I'm like, yeah, I'm here. And they're like, and then I get a message from BTM on there. They're like, okay, do you want me to share this photo of you or whatever? Like, it's up to you because I know you're in a really susceptible zone. And my response was, fuck it. They're not going to do a goddamn thing. Shares it. I'm not lying. He shares it within 30 seconds, all the live streamers, I'm talking about like Oreo, Wizzy, I think Polish, like all their heads just turned to me on this sitting there in this fucking lawn chair.
You guys have no idea how much those live streamers can stand the Doe Show and BTM. I got the behind the scenes little. I had to listen to those.
Did you say they could not stand the Doe Show or BTM?
No, they got trolled so hard. Oh my God, they were getting trolled so hard. They would complain and complain and complain about it.
No, Doe's debatable. So like
that
BTM,
little old man with the Doe Show sign. Come on.
No. I want you to understand this, Lori. So BTM is constructed by two when Doe got his strike, that's when BTM started doing the chat.
Oh, okay.
So what happens is that's constructed by two different streamers sides. One is the Beta Boys that was at TPC. The other is the Doe Show. So there's a lot of us that come from either side.
Okay.
So I came from the Doe Show side. It was weirdly debatable if Doe actually agreed with the TPC or not. I think in retrospect he was. He agreed with them because he's a right-wing conservative who's against trans rights, and he has some views of racism that's very disgusting, and very military kind of views. And bear in mind, I'm banned from the Doe Show Twitch, so it doesn't matter.
I got banned in one of their chats too, in his chat too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, he didn't like me because I called him out. I called him out for being a pussy for not confronting him.
Was Jeff with the Doe Show, or was Jeff with the Beta Boys, or
no? Jeff with Eric.
Jeff was with Eric. Okay.
I met Jeff because.
So Jeff was TPC basically.
Mm-hmm. He helped behind the scenes to buy parts.
Okay.
When I start going down there, I kind of getting some. Like, now, bear in mind, like I put my face out for the troll community. I recognize it happened. It was pretty fucking retarded. Excuse the hard R on that one, but I'm dumb for doing it.
Yeah.
In retrospect, because no one knew who these people were. They knew they existed. They didn't know who they were. And I went down there and did it. And I said nonchalantly, doing it, which built it up even more, you know. And I had death threats. I was doxxed. I was, name it, you know, probably was almost done at this point. And I still deal with the retrospect of that. Jeff, so I started getting along with some of them down there because their thing was, we never had a real leftist person here, or a person who came here just said, hey, we don't agree with you. And some of them did respect that. One of them actually was Eric. And so I would hop on their channels, and then I think me and one of Eric's mods got into it one night. And then Jeff out of nowhere banned me from Eric's chat. And then out of nowhere, like one night, he just randomly showed up on a BTM Discord conversation. And he knew a lot about me. He called me a fucking moron for going down there to be around a bunch of Proud Boys that wanted to kill me. He's like, and it was me, Telescope. Because when I went there the second rally, Eric unbanned me from his chat. And he was like, it was me who fucking banned you and not this other guy. You fucking idiot. And Jeff, and normal, as we understand from Jeff. Yeah. And I even tell my chat, I'm like, listen, like, you won't get along with Jeff until he at least like cusses you out and hates you for like a week or two.
You know, something I can never understand is I can never decide if these people are actually dangerous or I'm telling you, I know they're dangerous, but at the same time you look at them and it's like, Oh my God. How can I be afraid of you? I'm
Lori,
sorry.
I absolutely agree with you 100%. That's the whole thing. Like, when I objectively look at this, I'm like, I should be nowhere near this. But then, like, you get near these people, and they're like, they're not going to do a fucking thing.
No, I like seriously, imagine yourself with a triggered Wizzy sitting in his car with his bright lights on you. And he's now I'm just looking at him going, I know you're not going to run me over, right?
I saw that night. I was watching that night.
Yeah.
I don't have to imagine. I saw it.
Honestly, I think you guys should have talked to him. Like, Wizzy is not like, out of anyone down there, he's not the one to harm you. Like,
no, I know he's not. That's why I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it was the whole thing. It was like, I've confronted Wizzy down there. Like, and I said, when I outed myself, his head turned back to me. And once I was done talking to BCP and Oreo, he came over and talked to me, and we had like a 2-hour conversation. And he would not let me record it, and I wish he did. And there were times he was yelling and screaming at me. And Wizzy, I think it's very well known of mine, Wizzy's relationship with online at this point. But yeah, I think you guys should talk to him, especially Ant, because he couldn't keep like Wizzy's name out of his mouth for 5 months. And I was like, dude, okay, here's your opportunity. Like, talk to Wizzy. Like, he's not gonna do anything, dude. He's not gonna beat you up. He might call you a fucking idiot or something.
Some of these people could hurt us. I'm not going to discount that. That's why I laugh about it, because I can't ever decide. Because there's some kooky people there, and like, look at Hal. Hal could go bonkers at any point and kill one of us. I have no doubt.
The only one I was afraid of was Max. He came out of Max. Max. I'm not afraid of him now, but then I was, because he came out of nowhere. And this is right when the BDM Discord started. And he made himself a member on there, and he was on there one night demanding for me to come on. Now, like, sometimes I do things, sometimes I don't. I don't. It just depends how I feel. Now, bear in mind, I have a lot of people on there. I'm very well known from the BTM kind of side. And they're like, yeah, we'll just send Telescope a message. He'll get a hold of you, whatever. And then, like, a week later, he posts this manifesto. This is before he's known in the 76 crowd. DUFUS. And he randomly just posts this message. And it was this weird manifesto about BTM. I think he mentioned AP in it. Call me like teledope. I read the damn thing, was like laugh my fucking ass off. Even like Just Lazy Gamer did an episode about it where he read it, and it was just so laughable. And I was like, who the fuck is this person? Like, why are they so obsessed with me? You know, like, it was just really weird. And it was like, then I saw he was live like the next day, and I hopped on there. I'm like, okay, dude, if you want to have a conversation, I'll get BTM throw his StreamYards up, and we'll go in there and have a conversation. No, you need to come to DC and wear that shirt you said you're going to wear. And I'm like, all right. And then the next day, I'm like, dude, you want to have a conversation? No, you need to come DC. You're a fucking pussy. You need to wear that shirt. All right. And then I was like, fine. I'm like, I tried twice with them. So then I went to DC and I wore that shirt.
Is that the Jesus shirt?
Mm-hmm. The Jesus is a see you.
Yes.
Yeah. We all know it is. And you see it on my stream when I'm like protesting that night, because he comes out because he wasn't there during the day. His hypothetical is Telescope was afraid of me. He didn't come down here while I was here. Like, now bear in mind, I'm like hungover doing like fucking phone calls and getting ready. And I lost the clip of my
gimbal.
No, I don't have a gimbal. No, it's a kind of like my tripod, yeah. And I'm like going up and downstairs, like I'm on the 9th floor in a 4th fucking in a 4-star hotel. You know what I mean? Like you have to have cards. Like it's a pain in the ass. Like, and you're doing it at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, like you're just waiting minutes. Like you're going through your bag, and you're going up there, and you come down through your bag, go back there, and I eventually found it. So he's like, he avoided me down here. I approached him on the mall, and I'm like, okay, well, no. And then so later at night when he came back, he's filming, and you see it on my film because I called him out. I call him out like 9 times, and I'm like 4 feet away from him. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm here right now. Like, what do you gotta fucking say? I wore your little shirt for you too today, so like, come on. And he didn't say a damn word to me at all, at all.
Do you ever worry about somebody doing something?
Always. I mean, always. I mean, but at the same time as I live in Maryland, I have castle doctrine. I live in a very small county. I know the chief of police. I have cousins who are police officers. I have laws here. You come to my house. I've been shooting guns since I've been 3 years old. You're not going to threaten my family. You're not going to threaten me. I'm fine with debate and banter. I think we all can do that, right? I think the thing I'm afraid of is it's going to be not just for me, for anybody else. It's not going to be one of these bigger name ones. Like it's not going to be Red to do something, right? Even though he went to people's houses and attacked Wyckoff on the street, and Wyckoff was being very nice that night and very generous.
I thought that was fake. You know, until
it wasn't.
Listening to Wyckoff. You know,
it wasn't. He was on my show that night. It wasn't fake.
Pathetic, whatever it was.
Wyckoff was beast. Wyckoff beat. Well, no, Wyckoff being nice that night. I mean, Wyckoff's a pretty big dude. He's built like a fucking linebacker.
Well, then why didn't he do his justice and knock him out?
Well, no, he promised if there was ever a round 2 that would not be the same way. It's going to be one of these people who idolize these streamers going out and doing this. And what's going to happen is, and I think all of us can agree that we have a right to protect ourselves. We have a right to protect our families.
Mm-hmm.
And come to my house, it's not going to be what you expect. I have a family here, and you're not going to threaten me because I practice my freedom of speech, and I don't kiss people's asses. And I think that's all I really need to say. I think we can all read between the lines on that one.
I'll answer now. I have not worried one day of my life about these well, I can't say it, can I? I don't worry. Okay. I just won't. But that's just me.
And plus you've got Echo. You know,
no. I lived all by myself. Remember, I just came over here.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, Echo. You know, Echo's not someone to discount.
Oh heck no, you ain't messing with me. No, I've always had my dog, my gun. I ain't worried. But the honest truth is, it's not about them coming and hurting, because I know these people are stupid. They're not coming to my house. They're too lazy to come to my house, probably. I'm not worried about them coming to my home to try to hurt me. I'll tell you what really did. The only thing they did that made me scared. They scared me once. They sent police to my house to take my guns. That's where they scared me, because that was the one night I sat there and I was literally afraid of the
I was on the phone with her
coming into my home.
I was on the phone with her when that happened.
Excuse me?
I was on the phone with you when that happened.
I still can't catch you. You're going too fast.
I was on the phone with you when that happened.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were. Yeah, when the cop came to the door and I kept you on the phone so I'd have a witness. Yeah. Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, that scared me. That was the one night I sat in fear, because I wasn't afraid of them. I was afraid of the police were going to come to my home. The fear of my home being invaded by police because David Riddell or Jalen sent them? Are you serious? I have, and while I have people literally threatening my life and doxing my home, and everything else like this, I may not be afraid of them doing any, but I am being threatened. And then to have the same people threatening me be able to literally weaponize the courts and to come and have police come to take guns away, that's serious. That's scary.
So bear in mind, I had the weird fear when they were living down there because I don't live that far away from them, right? And they all took trips of where I live. I was getting active death threats going to those rallies. I was getting doxxed for going to those rallies. This is before even there was a counter protest movement. The things that me and my family had experienced. These are people, and I wasn't going down there and like running around naked. I was being quite respectful. I think anyone could see that. And me going, hey, I don't agree with your stupid movement, but at the same time, I was like, hey, thanks for letting me come here. It just shows you, it just demonstrates the type of people they are, and their supporters are. And
are we going to be able to say this is over at some point? Or
I think it's done.
Are they? Or I mean, they're still trying to start a chapter in each state, or a chapter in 13 states, or is it anything that anybody should even pay attention to anymore?
I think there's 7. So collectively, I would say there's probably about 700 to 1,000 people still watching it, right? We can base it on
how many supporters do they have, do you think? I mean, you say 700 to 1,000 people that still watch all of the streams and stuff. How many supporters do you think 1776 actually has?
400.
400. Lori, what do you think?
I don't know numbers. I'm going to say they have the death rattle right now. Now could they get a hold of something and get some traction somewhere if they really tried? Maybe. It's a possibility. I think they're almost gone, and it's not worth my time to spend. Like I couldn't even tell you the last time I even looked at one of their live streams. I just went to Twitter and put it in hashtag 1776 so I can see what the hell they've been doing a little bit to know if they're coming after me.
So
they do nothing but talk about us.
The highest streamer right now is Red, right? He's upset about this. Yesterday, I had like 250 to 280 on a stream, right? He had 170, and he was only restreaming me. Now, bear in mind is when I was getting those higher numbers. Sorry, Aunt Grannies. Vaughn, you were on my stream, along with Wizzy. So that was about 270, and then he had 170. I mean, do the math there.
Okay. Yeah.
And then
how many people are watching this shit? How many people are actually come on?
That's what I'm saying.
Watching all this.
I'm saying 700 to 1,000.
About 700 to 1,000 people. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to say is whether they're gone, dead, whatever, they are. We want to use the term irrelevant. To me, they are too irrelevant to waste my precious time. I have there's big problems in our country. There's big stuff to do. I did my big stuff with them. I destroyed a cult. I'm good.
And bear in mind on my stream, it's like we don't even spend that much time on 76 stuff. We'll talk about a whole bunch of other stuff. So I mean, it's
yeah.
And I'd rather get my channel geared towards that anyway. So like, I have a library of books in front of me that I haven't touched tonight. I'd rather talk about that kind of stuff. That's more interesting to me.
It is Telescope, because that's why I like talking to Telescope. Is I'll tell you what, people want to know why I talk to Telescope. Yeah, we don't agree on a lot of shit, but he can have a civil, intelligent conversation with me. He doesn't sit and degrade me. We can just sit and talk about stuff, and yeah, we may not always agree, but we listen to each other. That's, to me, that's precious. That people do that with people that they disagree with.
And plus, the two of you have one of the most epic streams, the Waffle House stream. I mean, you two are forever tied by the Waffle House stream. Come on.
He trolled me. You trolled me that night. He did troll me that night.
I didn't try to, but I'll answer Mater's thing, and we'll get into Waffle House.
Okay.
Mater, I had 2,600 viewers yesterday on that stream. My analytics kill it. I'm telling you flat out, like, it is absolutely nuts when I get my analytics. So yeah, I know what I'm talking about. I wouldn't. Yeah, I had 2,600 yesterday.
I don't pay.
But yeah, so
but yeah,
I'll view them every once in a while. But like, bear in mind, BTM had about 2,600 subscribers. I have like 930, like 930 something. I'm not even at 1,000. Lori has more. Lori and Doofus have much more viewers than me.
Oh, I don't even know, because I don't even pay attention to that shit.
I pay attention to it a little bit, but I mean,
well, I shouldn't say that. Yeah, I
good.
do. I do notice, like, oh, hey, look at so many people looked at that. My video, cool.
Actually, it's more than 27 likes, Mater. And bear in mind, you're the person that you like to simp for. Didn't have any content because he's non-tent, and his only content was restreaming me. So let's just add his content into mine. So that'd be like 500 and some. So there you go.
Waffle House was fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
We just sat there, and the next thing I knew, all those cops were there. I'm like, what the fuck? We just got swatted.
You know why you got swatted? You know what? You didn't know why we got swatted?
No.
Okay, so what happened is I went in there and they said I couldn't live stream. I'm like, okay, how about, because I named it like Tellywig or something like that, as a playoff of what WYSIWYG does, or Tellywizzy or something. And they're like, you can't live stream here. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, that's kind of weird. I'm like, well, if I ordered to go, they're like, all right. So I started filming the roof in there, and then I went outside and I paid for my food. And I went and started eating outside.
Put that in there.
I paid for my damn food. Like, it's on the stream. Everyone's accused me of this. I know I paid for it. And you went in there and you saw I was live. And you're like, I'm inside. I'm like, well, just come outside. You're like, okay. I just have to pay for my coffee. I'm like, okay. Why we got swatted was you explained who we were to these workers.
Yes, I did.
They're like, we're part of the suicide squad, and this is what we're doing, blah, blah. And when the cops showing up outside is like, are you involved with some No. I think their quote unquote was, are you involved with some death squad or something?
Suicide call.
They thought we were a suicide call, and that's why they fucking came. And then when I was speaking to the cops, they're like, okay. And then so it turned to they're like, yeah, she forgot to pay for her coffee. Like, oh, okay, I'll go and pay for it. And I'm looking at them like, they couldn't just told us, like, we're literally sitting outside, like, she forgot to pay for her fucking coffee.
Dude, I am like the most...
They thought we were a suicide call.
But we were so we weren't threatening at all. I was laughing. I'm like, oh, my friend's out there. I got to go and sit with them. And I'm like, and they let me walk out without paying for that coffee, which I obviously didn't realize because I just kind of, I didn't try to hurry up. I walk out. I'm sitting on the sidewalk. Nobody came out and said, excuse me, ma'am, you need to pay for your coffee.
Yeah, they thought we were a suicide call. That's why they called the cops.
Jesus.
So when we went back down there, when we came back and
I
got
did have
some
a
more
little
beers,
to drink that night.
Oh, you did. You definitely did. And so did I.
You guys go back to the motel, and then you say, we're going to go back to Waffle House. And I was one of them. All of us in chat are screaming at both of you. No, don't go back.
That was Telly.
That was me. That was totally my idea. It seemed like a good idea at the time.
It seemed like a good idea. It seemed like a good idea at the time to be for some reason.
Yeah.
So we walk down there, and the door's locked. And then, like, they get much more afraid. And then, like, so we recognize the door's locked. And I'm like, okay, fuck it. We'll just go back to the hotel. So the cops are called back there. And they come back up to us. I'm like, well, the door's locked. I'm like, why? We're just trying to get a refill. Like, I mean,
I paid for my coffee, damn it. I want my refill.
Yeah. So, like, just trying to get a refill. They're like, yeah, like, they have, like, threats and stuff down here. So, like, when they get afraid, they'll just lock the door and call the cops. Bear in mind, we were sitting there just having beers, and she's having her coffee. We're done eating. There were 6 cops in that fucking parking lot for like 2 hours. This is hands down the most expensive cup of coffee I've ever seen in my entire life.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
Because they had like 6 cops down there. When they even did that initial call, it was like 6 cops showing up. It was nuts.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny. I got to admit.
It's fucking hilarious.
What people don't realize is I'm notorious for that kind of stuff. I forget to wait, not on purpose, but because I get talking to people and I just kind of fucking forget. Like, I'll go to farms when I would go to get different, like if I was going to buy some chickens or whatever from a farm or eggs, or I'd get to talking and they'd be like, I'd go to get my car and they're like, wait, you got to pay for that? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Here you go. You know, I mean, that's just who I am.
Yeah, so
Then
like
you
the whole Schwaffle House thing, I mean, that was absolutely absurd. Like, I'm saying that, like, and bear in mind, they shut down this Waffle House for like 2 hours.
Waffle House never closes.
They
Well,
did.
they did.
They closed for you guys.
2 hours. 2 hours. And then it had 6 cops in front of it.
And they stayed there. The cops just sat there like they were waiting on you guys to come back or something.
Yeah.
But Waffle House really did. They made themselves better with me because of the Waffle House experiences I had while protesting at night at Bunker Hill.
That Bunker Hill Waffle House was totally different, right?
They protected me.
They were cool.
Okay.
I went there that one night.
The chef there actually went out and tried to chase some of those 76ers away that were coming and trying to go around my car and yelling at us and stuff. And he was very upset. And I'll tell you what, he was a little 3%er there himself. He was one of those right boys. And he was absolutely disgusted when he heard about the pedophiles. And then he saw them coming and chasing me around and shit. Here I was, just one little protester lady, you know, and having them follow and do all this shit. And he did not appreciate that at all. He was going to protect me.
Yeah, I think I was that Martinsburg, I think, Waffle House or something like that?
Yeah,
it,
I think so, because he even told me he didn't like Big D and some of the other ones that came in there because they had been into that Waffle House. And according to the chef, he was saying they had treated the waitresses real bad. They like didn't tip them and different stupid shit like that and pulled some crap, and they already didn't like them. And then when he found out that's who was a part of this shit that was going on, he was like, oh, it's them.
Yeah, they were pretty cool there. I think I ate there. They're pretty nice there. The Double J was pretty cool too.
We got about 10 minutes left here, and we're coming up on the 3-hour mark. So anything either one of you want to talk about before we kind of open it up to the chat?
Just do chat. Just do it, chat.
All right. All right, chat.
Chat.
Okay. Again, if you have anything for Lori, make sure and let us know. Pennywise, thank you for being here. Thank you. If you have any questions, let us know here.
Pennywise is really cool. Pennywise is pretty cool. They're pretty vicious sometimes, but
Lori
had to come back.
We lost Lori. Oh, well.
Come back, Lori.
Lori. It doesn't look like she's coming back. Maybe I said we had about 10 minutes. Maybe she didn't. Maybe she thought we were closing down. Okay.
I don't know.
Link. Okay, Lori. I can do that.
Okay, yes. Thank you, Andrea. You can help support alcoholism by giving my money to my Cash App. Hashtag the money sign and then TELE 1317. There you go.
Who's contributing?
She said she was worried about my alcoholism, and I could tell her how she could support it.
Hit that Cash App. There she is. Okay. There we go. All right. We got Lori back.
Now Telly's on top.
And now on top. We're switch hitters over here.
I don't like being on bottom. I gotta say, I gotta say that just Kelly and I were able. We really did. We were able to go in, and it was the weirdest situation. A lot of us actually slept at those hotel rooms. All of us all slept together. But there was going on around in there, right?
Yeah.
I try to sleep on the floor. I try to sleep underneath the sink, and Lori woke me up, and then you made me have this one of the top 5 scariest moments of my life. That was interesting.
Which I slept through it, so.
Who had the best sleep night was Spike. I had like 3 inches of that bed, straight up. And then you have Claude with a cell phone talking about probably raping us to death or something. I'm not quite sure.
Oh my God. Speaking about Spike, he tell you this room stinks so bad. That dog is farting.
Okay. GB Packers wants to know, how was your life in danger telescope?
Have you been here, Claude? I mean, you're trying to sleep in the bed, and I would have been much more comfortable in that sink. And I think he said some explicit things that night about one of us. I got death threats, and yeah, and I got death threats and all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
okay.
I had to worry about the squirrels wanting to come back to my house. I mean, I think like STDs just radiate from any. Here's a story that possibly not people know. When I went and did the Bunker Hill thing, when I came home, I had an infected cyst behind my ear, so I had to deal with it bleeding out for like 2 months afterwards.
Oh my gosh,
it was awful.
Somebody wanted to know. Hold on a second. We had a question here. Let me get to it if I can. Telescope, did you really pee in the sleeping bag?
You want the truth or not truth? Because I think that the not truth is actually funnier than the truth. The truth is it was pouring down rain and it got wet in the sleeping bag. The non-truth is I just like to tell them I pissed all over it. I mean, that's just...
Okay, you really didn't, but it's funnier to tell them you did.
Yeah, I also include their back seat as well. No, it just rained. That's all.
It just rained. Okay. Okay, that's to Jeff. You're welcome, GB Packers. Yeah. That was from MJ too, by the way. Okay. EMJAY. That's who wanted to know. So
I'm glad to resolve your existential crisis with that. I didn't, but it's better to say I did.
And they can make fun of it, but you and Jersey J putting the 10 up was still that. I mean, that was one of the most underappreciated, hilarious moments of the entire thing.
Sure,
in my opinion.
Oh, you just got to
Lori?
see all the stuff that was on video. I seen Barry. There's lots of funny shit.
Oh, I know. I bet. I bet that
he and I bathing each other apart is the funniest moment. That was never recorded. And I'm not like
for that,
look,
Lori.
she was.
She's laughing.
Huh?
Were you there for Telescope and JJ bathing each other?
Oh, geez. It was, I think I was doing something else when they were doing it. I think I fell asleep and stuff, right?
No, you're at the table. You're at the table when we did it.
Because
we had to use the water pump handle to do it because there's no bathroom.
Oh my God. I have learned definitely through all this. I have learned how much I appreciate and a place to take a shower, a shit in a shower.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was very much like, and especially that campground too. Like we were all trying to get ready early, and then randomly this like youth bike team comes in, and it's like 30 some kids or something. Like it is out of nowhere. Like these counselors come in set a tent or whatever, and we're looking at like before them like, okay, yeah, we gotta get a shower. Like fuck, there's a shower here. Like all right, like you got swimming trunks? Yeah, I got swimming trunks. Me too. He's like, okay, I'm just going to go here and do this. I'm like, well, I'll just do the handle for you so you don't have to worry about, like, keep trying to fight with it. He's like, all right, thanks, man. And I do it for him, and then he drives off, and then, like, there's this bite team comes in. So we have to sit there for, like, another hour and a half so they could have their, like, Subway sandwiches or whatever. And then he has to go there and do it for me. So, like...
Say, dude. Because I got entertainment all the time. You guys get entertained when they turn their live streams on.
Right.
I literally,
yeah.
I could just sit around and everywhere I was, there were entertaining people.
You know,
listen to JJ and Telescope. It's hilarious.
When we take our trip on Route 66, we're not going to be able to turn the cameras off. We're gonna have to like have the cameras on all the time, right?
Oh, all the time. I think I'm in Texas. We could just get a horse trailer.
Just pull a horse trailer? That's kind of what the Wyckoff. Yeah, that's kind of what the Wyckoffs did. Old Glory was kind of a utility trailer that they fixed up. They fixed it up pretty nice. I'm not going to discount what, you know.
I think it's pretty legit. I've actually been in it. It's a legit trailer.
Okay, Lori, before we go, there have been a lot of people asking this. Did you see Ant's letter to you? Would you like to comment on that, or would you rather not? Okay. Does it impact you?
Nah.
Okay.
No, not really.
All right.
What? To each their own. And like we all said earlier, but he doesn't want to associate with me, then they have every right to not associate with me.
And I personally do not have any animosity or anything against Ant or anybody else, and I'm not really sure what it's all about, but whatever it's all about, it's a lot less than a whole lot of other stuff that's going on. So I hope at some point all the small stuff will be kind of forgotten.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Say this, Barry. I will say this, that I feel the same way, like what you're saying. Listen, I have no really towards any, well, I shouldn't say anybody, because there's like this, but I mean, like you know, with Ant, AP, we've got the Fab Four. There was always going to be an ending because we only united for this cause. No animosity. We've all moved on to other things practically, right? Hey, people can move on to other things. Everybody can't, okay, for specifically, I hope that he does well. I hope life is well for him. Activism goes well. But I haven't been a part of his activisms. I've moved on to other things.
Okay.
So
Fair enough.
associate with me
Well
anymore.
said.
That's okay.
All right. Telescope, we're going to give you the last word, man.
I think she kind of summarized it well. Sometimes you have to watch the people say they believe in freedom, but when it comes down to the brass taxes of it, it doesn't demonstrate their own philosophy. And question a lot of those things. Pay attention to what the people are saying. Hold people accountable. Hold people responsible. That's how collectively it's much more of a demonstrate a better society. And have a much more intelligent and inviting conversation with one another. If that makes any sense. Just rambling.
All right.
No, it does.
I'm going to be on. I'm going to be on tomorrow night about 8:45 ish for the 9 o'clock State of the Union address by Joe Biden. Telescope, you're going to be on. What time are you going to be on tomorrow? Any idea?
When I wake up.
Okay.
I'm trying to avoid these 5 a.m.s. I've been doing these like 5 a.m. streams. Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah. Okay. So late morning or early afternoon. Look for Telescope tomorrow. Lori, where are you going to be? You got anything planned over the next couple of days?
I've been trying to put an interview together, and I was supposed to do it Sunday. So it's with a really interesting guy that I've met at the protest. There's like Texas kids, and they've been the ones that have been doing drag show protests, right? Actually, one of the guys that protests, and he was willing. He gave an interview, which I don't know if you remember, that wasn't working real good, and so you couldn't pick up what he was saying. Some of the people were saying that he actually is like kind of he guards the head of this group, right? So I find it interesting that these would be interesting people to talk what his beliefs were. Well, I heard him talk to do an and he was well put together the way he was talking, and I thought he would do a good interview, but he ended up getting food poisoning, so we had to put it off. But that week.
All right. Well, now that
one thing. Hey, Andrea, if you ever want to have a conversation about that, you can come over to my chat. And Jeff, are you going live? There you go. It's all yours.
Okay. Let us know if you're going live. We'll direct people over there. And Lori, now that you know the deal was, if Lori came on, we did this, then I was going to go on Lori's channel and she was going to interview me. So we'll be doing that at some time coming up in the future too. So and of course you'll see both of us over in Telly's chat on occasion. And I want to thank both of you for being here. I want to thank everybody watching in the chat, everybody watching that's not in the chat. It's going to be a little over 3 hours. So everybody that's watching the replay, it's a little long one, but it's worth it. And we thank you all for sticking around. AP and Ann, if you're watching, I adore you guys and will continue to support you. That's Dr. Justice for All. And will there ever be a Dufus and Lori show? Stay tuned. What'd you say, Lori?
Down Route 6.
Down Route 66. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Thanks, McCullough. Thanks, Patton. Thanks, Haywood, ACB, Sissy. Thank you all. And, of course, thank you to Telescope. Thank you to Lori Arnold. Thank you to Love One Another.
Thank you,
CKM Music. We will see you guys. And I was kind of stalling to see if Jeff's going to be on. If Jeff's not up, Telly, are you going to light up a chat?
I might if Jeff doesn't, but I'm not going to stay up at 5 a.m. I'll cut it off at 3.
All right. Okay. So head over to Telescope's channel if Jeff is not up, and Telly will be on till 3. And we will see you. We will see you somewhere down the road. Love y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Namaste. Shalom. Salam. Assalamu alaikum. Blessings in the name of the Most High from his son Christ Jesus with the Holy Spirit upon you, especially you, telecoach, you, Satanist, you. Blessings of God upon you.
Love you,
I love
DUFUS.
you. I love you. I love you, Telly. I love you, Lori. I love all of you. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. It's a dark world.